on, guys? Thank you so very much for joining us right here on Tuesday night. It is Tuesday Night Titans, episode 161 for your Tuesday, August 25th, 2026. I'm your host, JD from New York, as always, joined by the one, not Solo Sikoa, not Neo from The Matrix, Solid Monster. What's going on, brother?
What's going on, man? The only solo that matters is the one that is with you tonight.
Yes,
pew,
indeed.
pew.
Yes, indeed. Yes, pew, pew.
No pew pew here.
No pew pew.
Did you see his new T-shirt?
I did. It looks fucking terrible.
It's awful. It's just they just can never get it right. You know, you gotta capitalize on this. And then I look at the one T-shirt they put out for him. I'm like,
it's too busy. I don't like a busy T-shirt. You know.
Yeah, there's just I don't know. There's just something. Nothing about it screams like, hey, I want to walk around wearing this Solo Sikoa shirt. I feel like they can do better.
You don't want to walk around with pew pew on your T-shirt?
No, I don't. I'm like, pew pew. I mean, why are they putting that on the shirt?
I have a critter in the office that I have to kill. Hold on 1 second. I don't know what the fuck.
Oh, this is exciting.
This is fucking. That's ridiculous, dude.
Death.
That is ridiculous. I would never. I don't even know where it went or if I killed it. But I would not be able to go live with that on the wall. I'm sorry.
Well, if you didn't kill it, it might reemerge now. It might pop back up and try to get revenge on you. This could be exciting.
I don't know where it went, but hopefully it's dead. It was red and it was quick and
it's an AEW sicko bug and he's coming for you.
Yeah. Well, listen, we'll keep an eye on that. But thank you guys very much for joining us here on Tuesday night. Not a lot to get into tonight. I'm going to be upfront with you guys, but Jason and I usually make do with what we got, and we give you an entertaining show regardless. It's just the end of the summer. There's nothing going on. It genuinely doesn't even feel like we're heading into All In weekend. Do you feel the same?
Yeah, I mean, it just feels like another weekend coming up. I wouldn't say that it kind of feels like a major event weekend, even though there's more than just All Out. There's actually a bunch of events on Sunday, and it's just, I don't know, it just feels like another weekend.
No, it doesn't feel like All In. We got Heat Wave as well, Zilla and
AAA.
Yeah, AAA. I mean, it's just crazy. Yeah. So it doesn't really feel like that big of a weekend, but we got AEW preview and predictions. We'll go over what we think is going to happen at the show on Sunday. 1 p.m. start time, which is great for us because hopefully we'll be live by like 5:30, 6 o'clock, which I'll take that any day over the week instead of a 12 a.m. or 12:30 a.m. AEW pay-per-view. So we'll go over that. We have news on the WWE side of things. We had Royce Keys and OTM, new faction forming on Monday night. We'll talk about that, where we think that's going. Is Royce Keys the real leader of this group, or is Jacob Fatu going to be the next in the bloodline to bounce out of the family and join his OAKLINE friends? We'll talk about that. We got news on Saturday night's main event. We got news on the tag team division in WWE. We'll talk a little Punk and Kevin Owens. And obviously, Ilja Dragunov, no longer with the company. We'll talk about that and the ridiculousness that came out of last week. We touched upon it a little bit last week, but there was a lot more that came out. So we'll talk about that as well here on this Tuesday night. So thank you guys again for joining us. If you guys need Jason in any capacity, everything you need is linked down below in the description, Twitter and YouTube. So please go and follow him wherever he is available. And you guys know where to find me. And please hit that thumbs up as well. Thumbs up, comments, you guys know what to do. All that stuff helps us out in the YouTube algorithm. And the super chats are open. Those will be read at the end of the show. We love them. So if you guys want to get them on in, any type of support is always appreciated. We'll read them at the end of the show. So that is up to you guys, and we'll have some fun with that at the end of the show. I know we are legitimately less than a week away. Well, actually, no, not less than a week away. A little bit more than a week away. Jason and I will be in Los Angeles, and we have a show coming up, and I will leave it to the commish to talk about what we're doing in Los Angeles next week.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to be back at the Globe Theater September 4th. So it's not this Friday, but next Friday. So when you see no live SmackDown reviews next Friday, you guys will know why. And we've got a first-time ever special attraction match, which I think both of us are very much looking forward to being on the call for, which is going to involve the reigning, as of today, the current AEW International Champion, Kyle Fletcher, who is going to be going one-on-one with the Amazing Red. And so that is going to be very cool. Shotzi will have her Women's Championship on the line on that show as well against Steph DeLander. We also have Zelina making her HOG debut. So she's going to be in action on that card. And we're going to have more announcements in the days ahead. So if you go to hogwrestling.net, the seats on the floor, they are all sold out. However, there are still standing room only and balcony, I believe balcony standing room only, is available. So if you want to come down to the venue and be part of the show, there are still some tickets left. Otherwise, we're going to be streaming on YouTube. I believe, in fact, the page is already parked and ready to go. So hopefully you will be able to join us in some form or fashion. I think our last show is up over 90,000 views, I do believe. So hopefully we can have a repeat of that this time.
Yeah, I think Fletcher and Red's going to kill it. So,
oh yeah.
So we'll be there. Jason and I will be hanging around. We'll be there early enough. So if you guys are going to come on out, we'd love to meet you. And we even have a couple of meet and greets as well. We have the New Age Outlaws are going to be there. My God, Road Dogg's going to be there.
Oh boy. Yes. They're going to be there. And last time we had the $1 Million Man was there.
Yes, I saw that. Yeah.
Yes. I know you couldn't make that, but
no.
Ted DiBiase was there, and people were signing and taking pictures with him. So
he had the $1 Million belt with him.
I believe so. Yes.
Oh, nice.
Yes, and I believe there were some people who actually brought their own $1 Million belts for him to sign. So yeah, there's going to be a lot going on. And again, it's an iconic venue. It's a great, intimate wrestling venue. The last time that I was there was my first time there, and I enjoyed it very much. So this time I'm sure it'll be just as good, if not better.
Shout out to Fuzzy in the chat. Shout out from Scotland. Big fan of JD and Solo. Thanks for what you guys do. Look at that.
Wow, Fuzzy.
Love it. Fuzzy, thank you, brother.
Yeah. That's how my foot was feeling before, because I was sitting for too long.
Yes, that's very important information that we need to know on this.
The next time that happens, I'm going to think of you, Fuzzy.
All right, man. I'm going to hand you the ball. What do you want to talk about? Where do you want to
go? Why don't we start with our old friend, Mr. Dragunov.
Mr. Dragunov,
because this takes us back to it was kind of towards the end of last week, probably Thursday, right, when that news broke, I believe.
Yeah. We heard. I mean, we talked about him legitimately last Tuesday. We talked about him, possibly hoping he shows back up on television and talking about a match with Gunther.
Yeah, well, that was yeah, right. I mean, that was kind of the funny thing, is that we were talking about that WrestleVotes report. When they were talking about the reason that we haven't seen him on television, it's analytics, it's numbers, and he's not moving numbers. And then we were kind of going off on what that means and what we would like to see him do. And then literally, if not 24 hours, it was within 48 hours, comes the report that he's gone. He's not even working there anymore, and they moved him to the alumni section on WWE.com. I'm like, well, I mean, so much for that. That kind of escalated quickly. And there's just a lot. Obviously, everybody has their thoughts on it, but it's just a very, I guess, sort of deflating story more than anything else. If you were a fan of his, if you were a fan of his work, obviously, if you're not, and there are people who are like, well, he had no personality, he had no charisma, he didn't have it, and so they don't give a shit, right? Not everybody is an Ilja Dragunov fan, but there are a lot of them out there, and I think a lot of them are also very upset. They feel like he was not used in a way that they would have liked to have seen him used with some of the people they have on that roster that I think would have brought out the best in him. And we just never even had the opportunity. This has really been a lost year. It's kind of a shame because he missed 13 months with that torn ACL. And it really feels like this is another lost year, right? Because think about what he's done this year. I'm talking since he lost the U.S. title. Not a whole hell of a lot.
Well, his last match, just to kind of piggyback off that, his last match was the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal on April 17th on SmackDown. You know that match, Jason, where the winner of that, their careers are catapulted into the next level in WWE, right?
Well, I have to ask you a question.
What?
And this is a legitimate question. Who won the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal this year?
Royce Keys.
That's right. I completely forgot.
That's because he's a made man after that match.
I legitimately, I was like, wait a minute, who won the Andre Battle Royal? Like, I know Mello won last year, I think, but for the life of me, I couldn't remember who won this year, which I think says it all. That and my mind must be going.
Yeah.
But and he was eliminated in that Battle Royal by someone who doesn't even work for the company anymore.
Malachi Black or Aleister Black, yeah.
That's right, yeah.
So that was his last match. His most recent win, if you want to go back even further than that, January 30th against The Miz in a barn burner.
Oh, man. Wow.
That was his year. And then obviously we cannot forget the Rumble spot where he chopped Lesnar into oblivion and then he no-sold those chops and then dumped him like yesterday's garbage. Which, honestly, we look back at that. That was probably the death blow to Ilja Dragunov and his mind saying, you know what, I think I'm done. I think I'm done here. But
yeah, and I think there was one more match with Mello maybe in March.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it was a good one because they always had good matches together. But that was it. I mean, that's legitimately it. So it's been another lost year. And then this report comes out and these details come out about what happened, because we've both been asking the question, why has he been off television for over 4 months? If it's not an injury, and everyone's speculating and maybe it's work visa related, and other people have had work visa issues and they haven't been out for this long, what the hell happened? And now we have a clearer picture of what that was and why they were keeping him off TV.
Yeah, I mean, we'll start. I mean, we went over just the bare basics there of when he was back on television with WWE. In July, Brian Alvarez actually reported that Dragunov was expected back sooner rather than later without giving a direction or a storyline for him. Jason's mentioned a couple of weeks now that he was training at the Heart Dungeon with Natty and her team down there. And his girlfriend works there too as well, trains there with him. So he's been seen on Instagram and in pictures. So we knew he was still alive, at least at that point. But anyone following this over the past couple of weeks will have seen a version of the story just constantly change month to month. And the difference between the two is just vastly different from what we originally got reported. On August 14th, an account on X claimed that Dragunov had been offered a contract extension and had refused it. So this came after we heard WrestleVotes claim that the reason why he was off TV was because of WWE's latest Moneyball, mentality, saying that we're not going to put people on TV because of analytics and engagement, and if they're not drawing numbers, then we're not going to feature them on TV, which is fucking ridiculous and bullshit, because I could name you at least a dozen talents that probably fit into that same criteria, but we're nailing Dragunov with that aspect. I don't really understand that. So on August 14th, contract extension, he refused it. He'd been pulled from television as a result, and he would be free. Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select dismissed it publicly and asked why the claim was being made without any evidence. The account behind it acknowledged it and had no sourcing and described the post as merely an opinion. So we did get an update there from PW Insider, which they reported that his contract had expired and he was moved to the alumni section on WWE.com. And now we are where we are with Dragunov being able to go and land wherever he wants. Tony Khan actually did mention about Dragunov. He was asked, and he stated that he was unsure about Dragunov's contractual status, but he did share high praise for Dragunov. He said, Dragunov, I'm not sure about the contract status, but that's a tremendous, tremendous professional wrestler. I don't know exactly what the status is of people that don't work here. I can't keep track of those things, and there is no way for me to know that. But one thing I do know is that he is a great wrestler. Bullshit. Tony knows exactly what's going on. If there's anybody that knows, it's him. Jason, the Moneyball nonsense was complete bullshit. I said it on Twitter myself. Personally, I think that was just WWE trying to cast blame and put blame on Dragunov for not being a guy that draws. And on top of that, I feel like they knew they fucked up and they tried to come up with any random excuse to blame it on him and not on the creative side of things. How this man wasn't really given anything creatively coming into the new year at the beginning of this year when they brought him back after 13 months, gave him the United States Championship, and he had banger matches with almost everybody in that mid-card on Friday night, and he got over. And if people are telling us that he's not over or he didn't get over, he's not this, he's not that, he got over based on his sheer in-ring ability. Dragunov brings something to the table that a lot of people in that company don't. And he is as intense as anybody. Every match he wrestled reminded me of Sheamus. He went through a fucking war with anybody. And I always loved and appreciated that from him, and I really wanted to see that even on a higher level, and not just for the United States Championship. But everything that we got here, there's clearly something else that went on here that we're not really seeing right now, and we may never find out. But I genuinely believe that there's something that happened here in between January and August that we're not really picking up on.
Well, it's not even January and August. It's more January and April, in that range. Because I can believe that starting in April, they made the decision to just take him off TV because they were starting negotiations on a new deal. They were very far apart, and they realized, okay, well, if we're that far apart, this could go south. Let's just take him off TV. That to me, though, that doesn't answer what went wrong in between January and April. That's a 4-month gap right there. So that's what I would love to know. And who knows, maybe one day he'll sit down with Chris and, get the interview treatment. He'll talk about it. Because that's just very bizarre to me. He was getting a decent push when he was doing the U.S. title open challenge stuff. And I felt like he was getting over through his in-ring work. I felt like he was getting over. He was winning over fans. He lost the championship, which he was always going to lose it. But then the hope is that, okay, well, now that that's over with, they'll transition him into something else. And they just never did. He was kind of in the same position that I feel like Gunther is in right now, where he's on the roster and he doesn't really have any sense of direction. And the sad thing is, now would be the perfect time to put the two of them together. Because what the hell do they have Gunther doing?
Well, you don't want. I read the spoilers. You don't want to know what they have Gunther doing on Friday. Or there's one good thing and one really bad thing that Gunther's doing on Friday. But what you just said is even going to be enhanced on Friday when you come to SmackDown.
I can't wait. I can't wait for that. That's a great endorsement there. But that's the sad thing. Like, this would have been the perfect time to just match the two of them up and let them, just work together and have maybe a series of matches. Because I feel like the two of them, just based on their history, would bring out the best in each other and get themselves, a decent spot on SmackDown week to week. Now he's gone, and as far as his future, look, he clearly realized that he had a ceiling put on him because this was his decision. At the end of the day, if the reports are to be believed, they wanted to retain him, but it sounded like they probably didn't want to retain him for the same amount of money that he was making before. Because again, he's not one of those money makers. So whatever he was making was probably above what they felt he was worth. And they were like, well, we want to keep you, but we're very far apart on these terms. And good for him. If he felt like he was worth a certain amount of money and stood his ground, it's very much like a Sheamus or a New Day situation where it's like, look, if this is what they're doing with me now and they want to pay me less money, what the hell is the point in staying?
Well, he wasn't probably making anywhere close to like mega money in WWE. No, how much less would they be paying him? That's ridiculous.
Well, that's the thing. I can't imagine they were breaking the bank on him. And so if they were looking to pay him less, I don't know. I don't know what those figures look like, but he probably looked at it and said, you know what? I'm going to take my talents and my services and I'm going to go somewhere else where they would be put to better use, which honestly, they would be put to better use almost anywhere else.
Yeah.
And they really would. I mean, now they could have given him a longer leash and they could have given him more time if they felt like he wasn't getting over at the level they wanted him to get over at. But he's probably going to be a much better fit somewhere else, if we're being perfectly honest. It's frustrating because you and I both know, I mean, they give other people more opportunities, more time, right? The people that they're hoping, like, we want this person to succeed and get over. It feels like they kind of gave up on him too quickly, which is very frustrating because he put good work in NXT UK. He put good work in NXT, and even coming back from the injury, what they had him doing late last year was really good stuff. So I think that it feels to me like they just gave up on him too quickly. If they really wanted to try to make him something on that show, he would have been on television. They wouldn't have taken him off TV. You're only going to be looked at as importantly as you are booked to be on the television show, right? And so if you can't even get TV time, and when you do, you're wrestling low-level matches, whether you win or lose, that's how the fans are going to see you. And it's very clear to me that based on the way they used him earlier this year, they didn't see him at that level. So, like, if I'm him, why would I re-sign and lock myself in for another 3 or 4 years or 5 years Because he had to know. He's not a dumb, sure, he's not a dumb person. Did he honestly think, oh, if I sign this contract, things were going to be very different for me? You know, like, no, they're not. You know, and look, God bless Matt Cardona, but he came back to the company. I knew exactly the position they were going to have him in. But I think there were people who thought, oh, this time's going to be different. This time he's Matt Cardona. He's not Zack Ryder. And look at all the great stuff he did getting himself over on the indies, and maybe that can translate. Like, no, dude, like, no. This was always going to be the spot for him. But hey, that's where he wanted to be. I'm happy for him. Unfortunately, he's hurt. He tore his tricep in a, was it a main, I think it was a main event match, right? Not a dark match.
I thought it was a house show.
No. It was before SmackDown on Friday.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I think it was being taped for main event. It was a match with Kit Wilson. He tore his tricep. God. And, you know, depending on the severity of it, if it's something he doesn't need surgery for, who knows? Maybe he could be back within 90 days. If it's anything more than that, he's probably gone for 6 to 9 months. So I feel bad for him, but I just use him as an example because I'm not saying that Dragunov would have been in that exact position, but I just feel like you could tell based on how WWE uses certain people where they're going to be slotted. And if you're a Dragunov fan, you probably would not have been very happy with what they would have had him doing. Now he's free to go sign wherever he wants. There's no 90 days. His contract expired. He's a free man. And wherever he goes, he may be able to work in multiple places. And I hope he does. I hope he goes out there and does what he does best because his strength is bell to bell in the ring, right? He's a great pro wrestler. And hopefully we'll get to see that now because we sure as fuck weren't seeing it before.
Well, I don't know. Coming out of the United States Championship Open Challenge that he had some of the best matches that the company had in that stretch. I think that was, I mean, it's not even an opinion. It's fact that like the whole United States Open Challenge was the backbone of SmackDown, whether it was Zayn, Dragunov, Carmelo. They carried that show. What happened there that they all of a sudden turned the other cheek and said, you know what, we don't like this guy. He didn't draw numbers as the champion, and they kind of zinged him on that. And then going into the Rumble, and then his role just being completely decreased. Like, I don't really understand how they use the Moneyball approach when you didn't even bother to feature him in anything meaningful to even back up those statistics. It doesn't even make any sense.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't make sense. I mean, they did one little kind of minor story with him where he was remember that he was having self-doubt.
Yeah.
And there was like a bunch of backstage segments where he was interacting with Carmelo Hayes. So they had their own little like side story going. And again, then they rematched them and Melo beat him. And that was it, really, until the Andre Battle Royal. I legitimately don't think he did anything else. To me, that reads like they gave up on him. And I don't have a better answer for you. I don't know why. And we talked about the Rumble spot before. And even then, there was a lot of divided opinion about that. Oh, people are making a bigger deal out of it than they need to. It's Brock. He got to work with Brock. Dragunov himself. I don't remember what the show was. He was on a podcast or something. And again, I don't know if this is in his heart, how he honestly feels, or if he was just being a good company guy. But he defended it and he said, look, no, you know, Brock's this amazing star and I got to, you know, be in the ring with him. And he was basically saying, no, it's not that big of a deal. And it was an honor to work with him. And I will say that as a fan and an observer just watching the show, I don't see how anybody, even Dragunov himself, can look at what they did with him in that spot in the Rumble and look at that as anything positive for Ilja Dragunov. I don't see it. I don't see it. And I think what they did with him or didn't do with him after that pretty much bears that out. That was not a moment that was going to enhance him in any way.
No, that's a company answer he gave.
It did just the opposite. Like, dude, he literally I thought he may as well have laughed in his face. He basically just screamed. He looked down at him. He screamed in his face like he was annoying him, like that bug you just squashed on the wall, like he was annoying him, and just tossed him out of the ring like garbage. Thanks for coming.
I mean, there was no other spot in the Rumble that pissed me off more on that entire show, really, than that. And then Lesnar's fucking elimination, where Uso came down the crowd and started yeeting, and Lesnar's getting eliminated by Cody and LA Knight. I'm like, what the fuck's going on?
Well, LA Knight told Chris Van Vliet, like, one day he'll be able to share the story. There's an interesting story behind that. So I can't wait to hear it as far as, you know, how that elimination came to be. But yeah, so it kind of goes back to that, but it wasn't just the Rumble spot. It's just the it's a collection of just different things and the way they used him. And it's just it's unfortunate because there was a lot of meat left on that bone with him in that company. But now he can go somewhere else and hopefully he can, not only just have success elsewhere, but who's to say he doesn't end up back in WWE at some point? If you wanted to go back a few years down the road, maybe he ends up back there and maybe he'll be a bigger star for it, if he gets over somewhere else. But it just became very clear to me, this guy is just not a good fit for this company. If they don't see what some of the fans see, who are fans of his work, he's not a good fit for that company.
Well, there is a good fit according to most. And also this is coming from Sean Ross Sapp. Sources in the industry did expect Dragunov to land with AEW, but that was considered a hunch as opposed to firm. We've been working to learn what his visa status is, as a lot of times when wrestlers leave the company, they have a grace period before needing to procure one. However, if he wants to stay in America, he will have no trouble finding work. I went over what Tony Khan said. Obviously, he's going to be super interested in bringing him in now that AEW just announced Grand Slam France for the middle of October. I mean, that would be a perfect setting for even him to debut there with the company. But Fightful also learned what could be next for Dragunov. And speaking with sources across independent wrestling in Europe, his exit came as a surprise to those we spoke to in WXW, his former home promotion. Those we spoke to from Ilja's time on that roster, due to his ability to connect with fans, he was very popular. Since April of this year, Ilja has not been on television, like we mentioned, but in May, he was in attendance for a WXW event in Hamburg. So I know AEW is the going rumor right now, Jason. People have mentioned New Japan. People have mentioned TNA, MLW. I mean, selfishly, I would love for him to do indies just so that you and I could call a match or two of his because he's fucking incredible. But at the end of the day, I think he's probably going to enter with AEW because the sheer amount of matches, and he is a professional wrestler, the sheer amount of matches that he would be able to have over there with legitimately anybody. I mean, Tony Khan's probably already salivating.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't pop up in the gauntlet on Sunday. I mean, you were talking about his work visa status, but this show is in London. This show is not in the U.S. So if Tony Khan just wanted to have kind of a moment, if he wanted Ilja Dragunov, but was still working through, let's say, a visa process for the States, you could still debut him on Sunday in like a big spot, a big moment, and then take your time and bring him in when the time is right. I would be surprised if we don't see him. Because I would think that he would want like maybe at least one surprise in that gauntlet. And if he is truly a free man, then I don't know why you wouldn't try to make that happen unless that was something that Dragunov, for whatever reason, just didn't want to do. I'm sure he wouldn't be against it. Look, AEW, in terms of the talent they have there, and we always joke about, my God, this bloated roster. They have so many people. The Motor City Machine Guns, they debuted in Detroit at the end of July. I don't believe they've had a single match.
They haven't even been on TV.
They have not been seen since. I don't know if they got kidnapped. I don't know what happened to them. I know Detroit can be rough, but I hope they're okay. So yes, we can all agree that there are people, whether they're from WWE or not, who will sign with AEW and then you don't see them. However, I still think that he's a much better fit there than he would be, anywhere else. And the benefit of being in AEW, if you're him, they have these working relationships with New Japan and with CMLL, and they do allow people to work independent dates. He could still do all of those things if he really wants to, even if he's under contract with Tony Khan. The idea of him going to Japan, like signing with New Japan, I don't know. I mean, we're hearing these reports that he and WWE were so far apart on like the dollars and cents. I don't know what he was making, but I know that New Japan has had issues retaining talent now for the past few years because they can't pay them what WWE or AEW would be willing to pay them. So would he have to take a pay cut to go work for New Japan? Because I can't imagine they're going to really splurge big for him. I don't even know if that's possible. Same thing with TNA. TNA, if they really want somebody and they're a big enough name, I'm sure they'd go after them. Dragunov is not like a huge name. I don't know if they could afford to pay him either. So all signs to me would seem to point to AEW. And I mean, he's got an endless list of people to work with. I mean, we could be here for 20 minutes just rattling off all the different names, that he could be in the ring with. But the idea that we're now in a position where in a few months, we could very well see a match between Dragunov and Sheamus, but in an AEW ring.
That's fucking crazy to even think about.
That's insane to me. Like, if you would have told me that at the beginning of this year, I would have said you're out of your fucking mind. But here we are, right? Things move fast.
Sheamus O'Shaughnessy versus what was Dragunov's prior name before joining WWE?
I don't know, and I don't know what the ownership situation would be with if he might be able to keep the name. Was he not using that name prior to coming to WWE?
No, he was. Hey, that was his name. Yeah, that was. Yeah, he was using that name. I did not know that.
I think he might be able to use that name.
Wow,
He has
I did not know
use.
that. I thought it was something else completely different.
No. So he might still be able to be Ilja Dragunov.
That's crazy. Listen, we're gonna follow wherever he goes. He's tremendous. He's gonna kill it. He's gonna make a ton of money. He's gonna be allowed to wrestle. Like I said, selfishly, I'd love for Jason and I to get a match in before he makes a decision. But he's gonna do what he's got to do. But I kept thinking about this, Jason. You mentioned it. I don't know if it was last week or the week prior. We talked about all the people just absent from television. This. Again, they're already walking on eggshells and they're already worried for their spot. You see someone like Dragunov get a low ball offer with the reports of, we wanted to retain him, but we were far apart on money, so he ended up walking. What does this now further do to those people that aren't on television and are worried about their spot, not only with the lack of television time, but the possibility of being unemployed? I mean, there's so many people there that we can just point to and say, we should be concerned about their spot with the company, never mind on SmackDown or Raw.
Yeah, I mean, I always say, like, if you are someone who falls into that category, then you're always on the bubble. You have to be, you're basically on call at all times, for potentially getting that phone call, because it feels like now more than ever, if you are not someone with name value, if you're not moving merch, if you're just not really involved in anything, that you could be gone at any moment. It's like zero tolerance. We have our budget, we have our people that we're pushing, and if this person's making X amount of dollars and they're not being used, you're going to be gone. So I'd be worried if I were them. And there are a lot of people, unfortunately, who fall into that category, who have become ghosts, or they're only being used on main event. And I'm sure they didn't sign for peanuts. Even people who came from other promotions like TNA, who are currently working for WWE, then they're not doing a whole lot with them. It's not a great situation to be in if you're one of those people.
No, we wish him the best, and we'll keep an eye on wherever he lands, and he may very well land in AEW this Sunday at All In. So we'll keep an eye on that. Speaking of SmackDown, before
we get to SmackDown, though, we have a bomb we have to acknowledge.
Oh! I didn't see. What do we got here? Oh
TVP,
my goodness! Where's that's yes,
TVP.
With a $100 super chat. Says, hey, OTS fam, hope everyone is doing well tonight. JD and Solo, keep up the great work like you always do. Today we lost an icon and a beautiful soul. We will always love you, Dolly. Hashtag TNT, OTS for life, and RIP Dolly. Yeah, I heard about that. I heard about that today, man. She was 80 years old, wasn't she?
80 years old, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Didn't look it.
No, she did not look it. So that news broke today. TVP, thank you, brother. Always appreciate you being here. Thank you to everybody joining us here on Tuesday nights. And we will keep the ball rolling here. SmackDown on Friday night. I'm listening to this guy's SmackDown review, and he had to throw a jab at me. People were saying SmackDown's turning the corner. I'm like, whoa. Tranquilo, it's Alamos.
I was being very vague when I said that. There were multiple people who have said this.
No, they're not turning a corner. The show was terrible on Friday. We waited 2 hours to get at least 30 minutes of the show worth watching. And that was CM Punk and Kevin Owens. First time ever, legitimately ever, not only in WWE, just ever, that they shared a ring together one-on-one. WWE Championship on the line. Obviously, we've documented the history and the turmoil, the tension between both of these guys. Hot crowd in Toronto, perfect setting, biggest stakes in the entire industry on the line with the WWE Championship up for grabs. Great match. They went nearly 20 minutes. And I think you and I both said Sami was going to have some sort of involvement, and that's exactly what ended up happening. Sami wanted KO to use the championship to hit CM Punk and steal a victory and the title with the referee down. And Kevin Owens said no. He shoved the title back in Sami Zayn's chest, and Sami ended up hitting Kevin Owens. CM Punk had no idea. So now he beat Cody Rhodes with a Randy Orton RKO that he didn't see. And now he beat Kevin Owens with a Sami Zayn belt shot that he didn't see. So it looks like we're on some sort of, thing here with CM Punk. But in the end, Punk retained, and then Sami laid waste to Punk and Owens at the end of that match. Jason, what'd you think of the overall vibe, the atmosphere, the match itself? I thought it was, again, just to go and mention CM Punk in his catalog, he's tremendous. He's done incredible work since he's been back with WWE. This is no different. I loved everything they did on Friday night, and I can't wait to hopefully see it again for a second time.
Yeah, and I don't know if we're going to get it a second time as far as a singles match, but this was a very good match. I mean, again, first time ever, hard to believe because they've been around for so long. They've traveled some of the same roads, and then they just sort of, passed each other like ships in the night, but never actually went one-on-one. And it was very good for the 19 minutes, I think it went, that we got until the finish was, convoluted with Sami and everything, and we kind of had to know that was going to happen. I was holding out a sliver of hope, that maybe we would get that title change. Yeah, I said it on Uncrowned today. I said my head told me no, my heart told me yes. Maybe we'll actually get a Kevin Owens WWE title win, but no, I think he's 0 for 12 now, 0 for 13, something like that in WWE Championship matches. And the streak continues. Sami Zayn was the last man standing holding up the championship when the show was over. My sense of it was we're going to get a three-way match. Maybe we don't. I mean, they could always branch off and go with, not that Sami won't get his rematch at some point, but they could do Sami and Owens and have Punk end up, feuding with somebody else. I guess whoever comes out of Sunday night's main event, probably Randy Orton, as the winner there. But this just felt like this is ripe for a triple threat. And I just don't know when that would happen. I don't know that Punk is wrestling on Sunday night's main event, and then we don't have another PLE until Money in the Bank. So
which he's not advertised for.
Which he is not advertised for. And that could change, but as of this moment, he's not advertised for it. So I don't even know when they would do the match. But that's a match I'd love to see. As much as I'd love to see Punk and Owens run it back, there's no point in running it back if we're not going to get a clean winner. I mean, they probably didn't want to beat either one of these guys as far as beat them legitimately. Obviously, Owens lost, but it was because of Sami. So to just run the match back, unless we were going to get a clean finish, I don't really see the point of it. But a three-way, I'm fine with. I mean, if they want to take these next few months to tell that story with these three at the top of the card, let Cody and Randy sort of do their thing. I think that's fine as far as the top of the card. I just think it's sad that they had. Now, they claimed it was almost 18,000 people in the building. I know WrestleTick said it was over 15,000. The truth may be somewhere in the middle. They had a lot of people. They were sold out in the building on Friday. And that is the show that these people got, which outside of the main event, it was just fucking awful.
Well, you didn't care for Tiffany Stratton and Lash Legend, huh?
No, I really didn't. I really didn't. And look, I didn't even think the tag team title match was all that bad. I thought it was a solid enough match, with the MFTs and Priest and Truth, but just as a show from start to finish and what felt like was going to be a bigger than usual SmackDown with that big main event, I just thought to myself when the show was over, I went back in my head, like, what did we really get on this show? And, you got 15,000 people in that building. I'm sure the little kids were all happy. They're just happy to be there. But, like, that's the show that you give people. It was, like, bizarre. Very bizarre.
Typical WWE, announcing one mega match that everybody's interested in, and then they put as little effort into the show as possible because they know they already have you in the building. I hate it. It's one of the worst things I see in all of pro wrestling. Promoters taking the low effort way out. Oh, they got this mega main event. We don't need to do anything else on the show. Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. You got a whole roster that is ready for television.
Well, you should always just want to put your best foot forward. It doesn't mean you give away the store. I'm not saying that, but there was just nothing. I mean, we had that segment. We could talk about that now, where we set up a new match for Sunday night's main event. Not exactly the match I was expecting them to set up, but it's probably a roundabout way to get there for the U.S. title, where we had Baron Corbin come out to go back and forth on the mic with Trick Williams, who was out there with Lil Yachty. And Trick wants his rematch, and Corbin says no. one thing leads to another, and it leads to Corbin saying, I'll tell you what I'll do. I want a match with Lil Yachty. And if he can survive 5 minutes with me, then you will get your rematch for the United States Championship. And then they made it official. And did you see the poster?
Yeah, they already had that queued up and ready to go.
They had it queued up and ready to go. Tony Khan would be proud. It was instantly ready to go. And there's Corbin, and there's Lil Yachty, and then little teeny tiny right behind Lil Yachty is Trick Williams. Like if you really strain a little bit, you see him behind him there, like the manager of the group. And I'm like, okay, so their original idea, if you remember the WrestleVotes report, they were contemplating having a Lil Yachty concert on that show because they're going to be in Atlanta. He's from, if not Atlanta, he's from the area. So we're either going to get a Lil Yachty concert, or now we have a Lil Yachty match. I'm not sure which is worse. I guess I'll go with the match because at least we know it'll be over.
Yes, because the last concert they had on television was a resounding success, right?
Well, true, yes, but I mean, at least Lil Yachty is, a legitimate musician.
That doesn't mean I want to hear his music.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. But it would have to be marginally better at least. But that's not even the point. The point, he could be the best musical artist in the world. The point is, do we want to see it on Sunday night's main event? The answer is no. But at least with the match, we know it's not going to go any longer than 5 minutes.
Well, see, the thing with this match, though, is how ridiculous does it look just looking at who Baron Corbin is? He is, well, I don't know, some sort of belt. Maybe he's a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and he's a Golden Glove boxer. Lil Yachty's got to last 5 minutes. I don't think he'd last 5 seconds with Baron Corbin. So they want me to believe? They want you to believe?
Sure. You'd employ the strategy that I would use. I would just run. I mean, this guy.
What he's gonna do? Okay.
Corbin's like 6'5", 6'6", and I'm not, and so I would just run. I would make him chase after. I mean, I don't know if there's countouts in this thing. I don't know how the rules are going to work. I kind of look at it as like a beat the clock challenge. I would just make him chase me down until I tire him out. Right? Crawl under the ring, do all kinds of stuff. All you got to do is survive 5 minutes. It's not like he has to beat him. He doesn't have to pin him. Just run away.
I guess.
Grab a weapon. He's got his trick stick, right? He's got a weapon already. So I mean, now you would think that he's going to survive, and then Trick would get his match. There is always the possibility that maybe they're not ready to go to the Trick match yet, and maybe Corbin wins and they drag this out even longer. I don't have any interest in this being dragged out beyond that show. And once Trick gets his match, he's going to win the belt back. I think I've talked about this before. Like he's not losing 3 times to Baron Corbin. I just hope they end this all that night and we could be done with this.
Well, Baron Corbin didn't come out with the belt. He said the belt was getting shaved, so he didn't even come out with the furry belt.
No, the belt wasn't even there. So I don't know, dude. I mean, the fact that there's even still fur on the belt, that tells. What?
The chat saying Jason's glitching. He's in the Matrix now. I don't know what happened. He sounded robotic for about 10 seconds. It's all right. You're good now.
Am I good? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. As long as I'm okay.
Yeah, the furry belt wasn't showcased on Friday, and he said the belt was going to get shaved. But like Jason said, I mean, the reason why he even came out with it last week, and he looked ridiculous even holding it, is that it's going right back to Trick Williams. There's no way humanly possible that Trick Williams is going to lose to Baron Corbin for a 3rd time in a row. So that match is made. Do you think we get this match and then we get the Trick match on Sunday night's main event, or did they save that for somewhere down the road?
No, I think we're getting it that night. That's my understanding, that if he survives 5 minutes, they go right into the match.
Okay.
I mean, that's my understanding of it.
We'll see what happens there, where Corbin goes after this title run. I have no idea. So we'll wait and see what happens there. That show's looking pretty good. That Sunday night's main event show. They announced Cody and Randy. They got Bron Breakker and Oba, which we'll talk about a little bit later. And we got this match here. And hopefully they add another 2 matches, rounding out the show to 5. I know.
There is a rumor going. Yeah, there is a rumor going around. I think False Finish was the one that had this report that WWE is considering adding Blake Monroe against Giulia to that show as the women's match. But there's also been talk about maybe doing like a 3-way, not 3-way, but like a 6-woman tag that would involve Charlotte, Alexa, and Tatum Paxley against possibly Jade and the baddies. That's apparently up.
The show was looking pretty good until you just said that.
Yeah. So we'll see how that all shakes out.
Save that for SmackDown. There's no PLE. We got Worlds Collide, but they should treat this as a PLE and obviously.
Well, they are. Look at the top 2 matches.
I know. I mean, keep going. Don't just stop there. That's what I mean.
But still, it's still a Sunday night's main event, so you're not going to get more than. I mean, you're going to get. What do we have now? We have 2, 3 with the Yachty one, and then if they add a women's match, that may be it. I don't know. I mean, what do we have on the last one in July, Madison Square Garden? Do we have 4 matches?
I think there was only 3 matches, and then the Roman segment with Jalen Brunson. Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay. Well, so we're probably looking at 4 matches. I don't think they're going to go beyond that, but just in terms of the top 2 matches, those are 2 big matches. It's already looking better than a lot of the recent shows they've done, the Saturday Night's main event shows they've done.
Yes.
So, but you almost had to, because again, you have Worlds Collide at the end of September, but that's not like a traditional WWE PLE. So, we have a while to go before we get to Money in the Bank. You got to give people something.
You mentioned Blake Monroe. I was very ticked off about how they've treated Blake Monroe. You got 2 guys that are big fans of the former Mariah May here in WWE, now Blake Monroe. Jason, they had her on the main roster for 4 months. Sporadic appearances attacking the likes of Chelsea Green backstage and whoever else. She Giulia, Kiana James, who's gone missing. Candace. So 4.5 months, roughly, on the main roster, and they actually, last Friday, announced that she would be having her in-ring debut against Giulia, and the last time that she attacked Giulia was on an overseas show before SummerSlam. I forgot the date. I think it was around late June, maybe, early July. So they advertised her 7 days in advance to have this match. Giulia gets a full-fledged entrance on Friday, which was a little bizarre in its own right. So she gets a full-fledged entrance. And Blake, who has stated that Triple H and WWE are reworking her entrance from NXT, which to me was a great entrance. It was very unique and very her. So they're changing that. Blake didn't even get an entrance. And she attacked Giulia in the aisleway and got her in the ring after some beatings around the ringside. She threw her into the steps and into the steel post, and then she delivered the neutralizer in the ring. And then all of a sudden she rolls out of the ring. The referee's got his hands in the air. And I'm like, is that it? I didn't hear a bell. She just leaves and her theme music hits and she's telling the camera, I deserve better for my debut match. I think it should be a women's championship match. And I'm like, what the fuck? So then I go on my stream and I'm saying to myself, wouldn't this have made sense to do something like this in, I don't know, week 2, week 3? Of Blake Monroe's WWE debut? They waited 4.5 months for that. I mean, what'd you think of that? That was just pathetic and awful.
Well, wouldn't it have made more sense then to have her qualify for one of the 5 spots in that ladder match at SummerSlam?
Yes.
Just spitballing here. I mean, that would have seemed to have been the perfect opportunity if she was so interested in being the women's world champion, and you have this ladder match that was necessitated by Rhea's injury. You have 5 spots open, one of which I thought would go to JC Jane, and it didn't. And I'm like, well, maybe just, get Blake Monroe in there. Even if she didn't win, but like you could have had her win.
You could have had her win. It would have made sense.
Yeah, it would have made sense. I mean, especially now looking back at it, I don't know why she wasn't in that match.
I don't know. She was a part of the greatest women's storyline in AEW. They brought her in. She wanted to be here. She's always praised Triple H up and down, and this is the way that they treat her. I don't really get it. So my question to you is, with Rhea out, Charlotte is, obviously taking a lesser role. Now, Alexa and Charlotte have been a team for the last several months. They just added Tatum Paxley. Bianca's out, who just, I think today there was a news article saying that she has carpal tunnel in both hands. I mean, I don't know what's going on with her, so hopefully she could get back when she needs to get back. But Rhea, Charlotte with a decreased role, Bianca's out. You would think that this company would be in a rush to create like the next big women's star, and they obviously have that if they open their fucking eyes in Blake Monroe. Why is it taking them so long to build a new star in that division when we desperately need one? There isn't a big star in that division. I don't give a shit how many people want to wait till Rhea gets back. They should be creating stars now, and that's it. She's it.
Oh, I mean, she's got superstar written all over her. And I'm hopeful that there is some method to the madness here where, she's saying I need to debut the right way, which is, for the women's championship or winning the women's championship. It's entirely possible that wherever this is leading, it is leading up to her maybe being the one to take that title from Chelsea Green, once Chelsea is cleared. It's possible. But like you said before, it doesn't really explain what the hell was going on those first few months after she got called up to the main roster. It's like they didn't know what to do. So they kind of huddled together to say, okay, what's the best course of action here as far as using this woman? And it took them this long to get that plan in motion. But then I don't know why she was called up when they called her up to begin with, if they didn't already had a plan, ready to go to enforce with her. That doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. I want to say she was called up, was it May?
I thought it was before that, quite honestly.
It might have been. I mean, it was at least, I think it at least goes back to May.
I mean, the vignettes that we got of her writing in her journal and her diary, talking about all the other women. Dude, we got weeks of that. Those lasted longer than her fucking match, whatever the fuck it was on Friday.
Forget the vignettes, though, dude. Like, there was a week on SmackDown where she was there in person. She was in the back, and she had like a little 15-second interaction with Chelsea Green, and then they went right back to the vignettes.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? Like, that makes me think that whatever maybe they thought they were going to do with her, maybe they had a change of plans. And then they pulled back on it. It's the only thing I could think of because it's just bizarre.
Are they afraid to create new stars? Like they don't want to build somebody up with intentions of them taking a spot away from the other women? I don't know.
No, I don't think that they're afraid. I think that sometimes they're inept. With some of the ideas they come up with, they're just not very good. But I would think she's a can't miss, because we know she could wrestle. She's got that character down, to a T, right? She's a good promo. She can do it all, really. I mean, whatever box you want to check with her, she can do. We've seen that before.
Well, it's not an analytical problem or an engagement problem. We know that for sure.
Not a Moneyball problem. Not with Blake Monroe. So my hope is that they have a plan that they will stick to with her, and that this will bear fruit hopefully very soon. Because I don't want to, as a fan of her work, I don't want to be in a situation here where we're heading into October, and it's like, boy. We first started seeing vignettes for her in April or May, and only now does it feel like they're starting to get going with her. Let's go here, because like you said, we need to create a couple of new stars in that division. Rhea's not going to be back for several months. No. Bianca, I mean, it's going to be a while. If she comes back, it's going to be a while.
It's very blatantly obvious too. They absolutely cooled off Fatal Influence. I mean, they came in and they were like,
well, I don't know if you could say that, because they have all the gold right now. So I wouldn't say they completely cooled them off. There was a period where they cooled them off, like when they immediately came in. Yeah. It was like, oh, okay, this is a good way to debut them. And then there was a period where they did cool them off. But now they got the tag team titles, the U.S. title. They're in a better position than a lot of the other women in that division. So I won't sit here and go, oh, well, they cooled off Fatal Influence. Fatal Influence is doing better than most right now. So I don't think that that's really much of an issue with them. I'm more looking at some of the other women that are not getting a lot of television time or any television time. What are you going to do with them? Tatum Paxley so far. I know Tatum is very talented, and there were a couple of matches that she had there in NXT that really impressed me. But
yeah, the one with Zarya was really good.
That was really good, but like so far, these segments with her,
No, there's no follow up. They're legitimately 2 weeks of nothing now.
It's very just bare bones, like yikes.
Yeah, WWE doesn't book the darker characters the way that they need to. I think they are very lazy with them. I don't understand it.
I think these segments they've done with her have been very lazy. Like the stuff with her and Alexa and Charlotte is very, very, very lazy. So let's get her in the ring and see what she does once she starts mixing it up. She's having a match, I think, this Friday with Michin. Yes, Michin. Okay, so
exciting stuff there, man.
Well, yeah, the
Jade Cargill vortex is running wild on Friday.
So at least she'll get in the ring and actually wrestle a match. Let's see where she goes there. But there is definitely work to be done. Blake, if we're sitting here 3 months from now, 90 days from now, and Blake Monroe is not in a much better position than the one she's in, something is very, very wrong. I will say that. Something is very, very wrong.
I don't know. Something's already wrong. We're still asking where Jordan Grace is. Did you see Jordan Grace try to jump into Gengar's arms, the big Pokemon that she posted on social media? She was at some sort of convention and she jumped into Gengar's arms and then she bounced off of him like...
You say this like I know who Gengar is. I'm not even sure who that is. Is it like a comic book character?
He's a Pokemon. He's a dark Pokemon.
Yes. A dark Pokemon.
Yes.
See, the only Pokemon I know is Pikachu. He's the only one
Okay.
He's the only one. Is it a he or a she?
Pikachu?
Yeah.
I don't know. I would say he's a he.
You haven't checked?
No, I haven't checked. No. Am I supposed to look for something?
I mean, I don't know. Do Pokemon have the same parts that human beings have, or
no? There are male and female Pokemon.
What are their Poke parts look like? I don't know.
I don't want to know.
You have to educate me because you know more about this apparently than I do.
I don't know, chat. Well, you want to fill in Jason on who Gengar is? I may have.
I know who Gangrel is. I don't know who Gengar is.
Same thing. If you want to make the correlation there, it's a very good analogy, yes.
At first, when you started saying that, I was confused. I thought she jumped into Gangrel's arms. I'm like, why? I was very confused.
She's doing everything, but being a WWE superstar, Jordan Grace. I don't know what the fuck happened there.
Okay, so is it... Okay, so in the chat, he says, is it Genga or Gengar?
Gengar. Just add an R to Genga.
All right, that's not what Adrian said in the chat.
No, that's the gangsta way of saying it. Genga. Like I don't know. Well, I don't know.
I'm not touching that.
Chelsea. You mentioned Chelsea. We had Chelsea come out and save Tiffany Stratton after a bad match, very bad match with Lash Legend. I don't know why this was a thing on Friday, but this was WWE's way of forwarding the Chelsea and Tiffany story potentially. So after the match, Legend and Nia beat up Tiffany. After Lash pinned Tiffany with the Lash extension, Chelsea came out, chased them off with the kendo stick. Were you slightly disappointed that we didn't really get any tension or any true follow-up to Chelsea and Tiffany? Or are you thinking that they're waiting to get Chelsea back to full health before they actually move forward with that story?
Yeah, I think they're waiting until she's at least closer to being medically cleared. If she can't get physical... You know, I don't know what her status is right now, when she's going to be back in the ring or anything like that. But until she's at least a little more healthy, I would think that they're probably going to want to hold off on something, maybe make it more shocking if people aren't expecting it. So I didn't read too much into that. I thought maybe Tiffany would at least show some signs of being frustrated with her, a little upset with her. But to me, it's not a big deal. They're probably just holding off until, we get closer, I guess, to the 30 days. Remember, she has that 30-day, I don't know how many days are left now, but Nick Aldis gave her 30 days to get cleared.
Well, I don't want to give anything away because the show was obviously taped last night after Raw, but the mask that Chelsea usually has had.
The bedazzled mask.
Yeah, the bedazzled mask. I think we may be seeing a return to that very soon, so keep an eye out for that.
Yeah, what was I going to say? The crowd in Ottawa last night. This might be one of those. This might be one of those weeks where I actually hope that they manipulate the crowd for SmackDown.
Yeah, that was a bad crowd last night.
Because if we have the same crowd for SmackDown on Friday, especially given how bad some of these SmackDowns are, that's not going to be fun. So we might need to go to the sweetening system for SmackDown this week.
Yeah, I don't know what they were doing last night in Ottawa, but that was a very unenthusiastic crowd, and they only popped. What did they pop for? They popped for Dragon Lee and Ray Phoenix. That was it.
They popped for the Devil's Kiss and not much else.
Sure. I mean, everybody pops for that, but yeah.
Well, unfortunately, it's the only thing they pop for during her matches, which is becoming an issue because they don't seem to give a shit about anything else except that.
Elsewhere here, quickly, Damian Priest and R-Truth lost to the MFTs, Tamatonga and Tolatonga with Haku. They are the tag team champions of the MFTs. Damian Priest, they really telegraphed a heel turn only for them not to do it. Do you, and this was a talking point for me in my chat last night because obviously I'll mention this here, being that they're romantically linked. Lola got a vignette on Raw last night. 9/14, Mexico City. She'll be debuting with Monday Night Raw. Clearly it was her. They had the Vice City background and you saw someone, kickboxing. So, that's Lola's background. what do you make of Damian Priest here with R-Truth? Is this over for them and they're going to leave him the way he is and potentially move him to Raw with Lola? Or are they actually going to have Lola on one show, Priest on the other, and do we see Priest go heel?
I mean, I don't know if they're going to move Priest. I don't think it would be the worst idea in the world for him, honestly, to go back to Raw. But even if they don't, he needs to go heel.
Yeah.
He needs to go heel. I feel like he's just dying on the vine right now as a babyface. So I was hoping, like I saw they were teasing it, and I was like, yeah, just nail him. Just fucking nail R-Truth, cement the heel turn. And then he pulled back on it. I don't know if it's a case where they're going to tease it maybe a couple more times and then do it, or if they just wanted you to think that he was going to turn heel, but he's not going to turn heel. I would turn him. I would turn him. He needs to get something going. And I'm glad this team, well, I mean, I guess I don't know if they're going to end up breaking them up. I was kind of hoping coming out of this match they would. They've done all they can do. They got some mileage out of it. I'm over it. And I think for his sake and for the sake of his career, honestly, at this point, they got to break him away from Truth and just get him going on his own doing something. And I just feel like it makes more sense to do that as a heel.
Well, CM Punk did call him out by name, saying that he could be one of the challengers for the world title. So I don't know if he's going to get back to that point.
Well, and if you think about it, it would make more sense then for him to be a heel.
Yeah, we will see. But
we've already had our fill of Punk. See what I did there?
Yeah,
Phil. We already had our fill of Punk wrestling Cody, who's a babyface, and Kevin Owens, who's a babyface. Let's get him in there with some heels, like actual heels.
Yeah. I think that would be a good move for him as well. Speaking of the tag team division, if they are no longer going with Truth and Damian Priest, there is news coming from WrestleVotes. Now, take this with a grain of salt, even though I love the WrestleVotes dudes. They are saying, and they are told, that the company, Jason, is going to begin refocusing on a new, fresh tag team division with new, fresh teams while other pairings continue to linger in peril. According to a source with knowledge of the situation, the consensus is right now the company's pairing Shinsuke Nakamura and Hiromu Takahashi, who was given a new name. He's not Hiromu. Apparently his name is Kyoki.
Well, okay, so let's stop here. Because I was having great difficulty on Friday making sure that I was pronouncing this correctly. Now, I went back 3 times and I watched that vignette and I tried to listen to what Nakamura was saying when he mentioned his name. Now, it's the way it's written, it looks like if the K is silent, it would be like Yoki. But that's not how he said it. He said, now the way that I said it, people started laughing in my chat.
Karaoke?
And they said, no. They started laughing in the chat because they said the way I was pronouncing it, it's like a word in Spanish. I thought the way he said it was choach. Is that not what he said?
No, I heard you say this on Friday. I'm like, what the fuck is he talking about? Choach? No, it's Kyoki or Kyoki.
He's not a coyote. No, I thought he said choach. I thought choach.
I thought they named him after a fucking Priceline app. I didn't know what the fuck they were naming him.
No, I could have sworn the way he pronounced it was choach.
No, I didn't, bro. I didn't even hear him say choach. Where are you getting choach from?
I went back in the promo. I had to rewind it because I missed it the first time, and I wanted to hear him say it, and I thought he said choach, and then everyone's like,
"You didn't see the word singular word Kyoki or Kyoki."
I saw the way it was written, but dude, just because it's written that way doesn't mean it's pronounced that way.
He's Kyoki.
Ilja Dragunov is spelled Ilja. You don't hear them going Ilja Dragunov. It's like, come on, dude. Like, just because it's written that way, like fucking Joe Tessitz or Jade Cargill every fucking week on television, just because it's written a certain way doesn't mean that's how it's pronounced. So that's anyway. Okay, so the answer is you don't know either. Okay, good. So at least I know I'm not alone. Now, the second thing is we now know what the likely tag team name is going to be. This was a trademark that they took out back in June.
Oh, see, this is new information to me. What's the tag team name?
And nobody knew what it was for. And I don't know if this is confirmed, but the belief is that their tag team name might be Bakusai. So I think it's Bakusai. I believe might be their new team name.
Doesn't exactly roll off the tongue there.
It doesn't, but it's easier than fucking Choach or Kyoki. We can't figure out what the guy's name name is supposed to be.
I don't know. He worked a dark match on Raw last night. I don't know. Maybe he's got a name. Maybe.
I would hope he has a name. I'd love to know the proper way to pronounce it, so I'm not saying it the wrong way. I thought he said Choach. I'm just saying.
I didn't see Choach. To all joking aside, I saw Kyoki or Kyoki.
Yes, that's how it's spelled.
Yes,
that doesn't mean that's how it's pronounced.
Okay. We'll see.
How about we call him Hiromu Takahashi?
Well, for now, we'll call him Hiromu. Yes. Apparently, this is the new team. They're being positioned as the upfront challengers for the MFTs. Exciting stuff on Friday. And Axiom with Nathan Frazier is also expected to see increased television time. Now, as far as, that's not really a division. You can't call a division three teams a division. It's ridiculous. So Monday is even less, Jay. What happened now? What is the chat? Chat, what are you doing?
I'm not repeating this.
No, I see it. I'm not saying it.
You see Carlo. Okay,
yeah, I'm not saying it. Moving on.
I'm not saying it either.
So on Raw, we have the Vision, which are the tag team champions. The Street Profits are currently out because I think both members of the Profits have wives that just obviously Bianca gave birth, and I think Angelo Dawkins' wife also gave birth. So they are home. Los Americanos. I don't know where Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate are. I would love to see Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate on television as Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate. But
are they still under masks?
I guess so. I don't know.
Are they still doing the Americanos?
I don't know. Maybe Chad, you know better than me. I don't watch AAA weekly, but maybe they are still with him going into that match with Dominic. I wouldn't even call them a tag team. They're not a part of the tag team division in my eyes. Apparently, Jason, there's also discussion. Now, this may be false because of what we saw last night, because Ethan Page obviously has eyes on the IC title. There was thought of making Ethan Page and Rusev a team and making them more prominent. We're told also, says Fightful, that there are some within the company that don't want either talent simply getting lost in the tag team division. However, this is the idea that they have. Elevating them as a pair is more of a discussion than a definitive direction. And then obviously the Creeds, they still even employed.
The who?
The Creed, not the band Creed, the
Who's
Creed
that?
brothers.
Who are the Creed brothers? I forgot who these gentlemen are.
I don't know.
Where do I see them wrestle? What should I be watching? AAA main event? What should I be watching?
Julio and Bruto.
Ah, I see.
Yeah. So regardless of what I said here, the tag team division clearly is garbage in WWE. And I said this dating back to 2016. I don't know why we have two sets of tag team titles, one for the men, one for the women, and they have different sets of rules. Merge the goddamn divisions. What do you make of this shit? Is this even fixable at this point?
Well, they took one step last night towards debuting a new team from NXT. So it looks like their plan may be going into effect. As far as whether or not it's going to work, they got a lot of work to do, especially if you're going to keep these divisions divided like this and have one on Monday, one on Friday. There's a lot of work to be done because WWE has shown they don't make tag team wrestling a priority unless it's like some random ass match that's announced like last night where you have two, headline guys, fucking LA Knight and Solo Sikoa against the Usos. I'm not talking about that. In terms of the tag team titles, they've been second rate on these shows and they just haven't really paid a lot of attention to them. So I'm going to have to see some evidence of this before I buy into any of this. Is it going to work? Probably not. They're probably going to get bored and we're going to be back in the same position in a few months, even if they have this renewed interest in reviving the tag team division. There really should just be one, let's call it one division and one set of tag team titles like the women have, right? And those women's tag team titles flow. We've talked about this ad nauseum. I don't think our opinions have changed on this. The worst thing that they could have done was do what they did at WrestleMania a few years ago. Like as soon as they split the titles, it was a mistake. Like that night, it was a mistake. And they really haven't done anything to prove any of us wrong since. So I'm skeptical, but if you look at what they have right now, like let's take Raw. Forget SmackDown. Let's take Raw as an example. I know we'll talk about this more in a little bit, but we know OTM now from NXT. They're the newest tag team on Monday Night Raw. Besides them, we have the Usos. And what are the other tag teams right now that are really in that division at this moment? on Monday Night Raw?
The Vision.
Well, they're the tag team champions.
Yeah, for now.
For how much longer, we don't know. Okay, fine. Bron Breakker and Austin Theory, great team. Okay, who else? The Street Profits are off TV.
Street Profits are off TV. We had I mentioned Los Americanos. I don't count them. The Garzas are on SmackDown, right? They're on AAA.
Mm-hmm.
The War Raiders are on SmackDown. They're a Raw team holding the AAA tag team titles. I mean, that's it. That's legitimately it.
I mean, you just proved my point for me. So, like, they have a lot of work to be done if they're going to do that. As far as
Otis and Tozawa, how could I forget? Sorry, chat.
Yeah, okay, whatever. So, like, these people in WWE you mentioned before in that report that are kind of hesitant about Ethan Page and Rusev becoming a team for fear that they might get lost in the shuffle. Yeah, because they have really good reason to fear that. I agree. Ethan Page should not be toiling in tag team hell. So I hope that doesn't happen. But you're not left with a whole lot outside of what the ones that we just mentioned. And maybe there's one that we're not thinking of. But then you look at SmackDown. It feels to me like Priest and Truth are on their way out. If not, they should be. The War Raiders, who split their time between SmackDown and AAA. The Garzas, we don't really see them on SmackDown anymore. Fraxium, and then beyond Fraxium again. Who are we looking at on the SmackDown side?
That's legitimately it. There's nobody else.
Well, this tag team revival, it's gonna take a miracle.
Yeah, they are at the point of no return. Yes. Yeah. This is the same company, by the way, that fired the Wyatts, fired the Machine Guns, and fired the New Day. So now they want a tag team revival. Great. You got the Lucha Brothers, hopefully.
They used to have a tag team. They used to have a tag team called the Revival.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. Lucha Brothers potentially getting back together. The MFTs. How could we forget? They're the tag team champions, and we're not mentioning the tag team champions. That's how fucking awful it is.
I love, like, before we were talking about Raw, and I was like, you had to remind me that the Vision are the reigning tag team champions, and then we forgot about the MFTs. Yeah. I think that sums it up. I can't think of a better way to sum it up. You know, and it never used to be that way. Like, I was always very cognizant of who the tag team champions were, mainly because they weren't doing a whole lot with them. And now it's sometimes a struggle to remember who the tag team champions are. That's how badly these divisions have just been marginalized and just beaten down over all these months. And think about where we were on Fridays a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
Heading into WrestleMania last year. It's like a complete 180 from where we are now. So we know they have the capacity to do it if they want to do it. They just choose not to.
Triple H taking a page out of his father-in-law's book, and he hates tag team wrestling just as much as he did. So that's all that needs to be said there. One final note here from SmackDown. What happened?
MFTs on screen with Haku and still forgotten. Yeah, it's sad, dude. And I like Haku.
Yeah, Haku's a badass.
Haku comes out there. He's like, we finally learned what the MFTs truly stood for when Haku showed up, and he started calling them the motherfucking Tongans. And they have to censor him on TV.
Good. Keep it that way. That's a great name.
I wanted to ask you this on the MFTs. I am actually a fan of their theme music.
I heard you say this. I have to personally go back and listen to it because I wasn't really paying all that much attention.
And I didn't realize, I'm pretty sure the music they're coming out to now was the old singles theme they were using for Tala Tonga, but because he never really wrestled singles matches, I just didn't have any frame of reference. And it's nothing like overly special. It's just an instrumental, probably Def Rebel special. But when they won their match on Friday and I'm listening to the music, I'm like, it was like new to me. And I'm like, oh, you know what? This doesn't sound too bad. So I'm like, for all the times that we rightfully shit on the awful music in this company, I actually am a fan of the MFTs music. It might be the only thing that I will say I'm a fan of when it comes to the MFTs, but I actually kind of dig their theme song.
Well, I got to ask you guys, I mentioned Big Cass's theme last night. He actually got a full entrance, and we got to hear his theme music, and we got to see his presentation. I thought that it was Def Rebel. Chat was telling me last night that it was CFO that did the music. How is that possible? Did you hear anything about this on your end?
No. No, I mean, I was more focused on the match, not his theme song.
His theme music kind of reminded me of some weird fucking twisted Big Daddy Cool kind of vibe. It had that same like tempo, you know?
Well, Diesel, when he first debuted, Diesel used to come out literally to a truck horn. That was his music. They just looped it over and over again.
I mean, listen, it worked. It worked.
It's still better than most of the music we get today from Dev Rebel. Fucking truck horn.
Oh my god! Then they added the fucking harmonica to his theme music.
I live in New York. I hear that fucking thing every day, and it's still better than most of the music we get.
Yeah, I don't know if I don't know how people were saying CFO did it. I didn't hear anything about that. Some people were saying that it was in the captions when they were watching with captions on. I mean, those things are usually wrong. So I don't understand how CFO is doing it if Dev Rebel is doing the music. Regardless, the music just genuinely sucks in all capacities. But one final note here from SmackDown, Cody and Randy. Just the only thing I want to touch on here is, it was mostly more of the same stuff between these two. They didn't really give you anything new. It was just kind of them piggybacking off of what they said last week. But there was a situation where obviously he wanted to fight. Orton and Rhodes can't touch before Sunday night's main event. And if they do not get another shot at the WWE Championship. So Orton said he would be professional, not touch Cody before Sunday night's main event. Then he told Cody Jason that he lacked the killer instinct to take him out. Rhodes then told Orton that that was a dangerous assumption. And Rhodes said that he's going to be the one who kills the legend killer, basically. He said that he's the QB1. I'm going to kill the legends of Randy Orton. That's not a prediction. It's a spoiler. And everybody ran with that last line, kind of obviously pointing it to that's a Heyman quote, or we're going to see a heel Cody managed by a Paul Heyman. I ask you because I don't necessarily think that's necessary in a potential Cody Rhodes heel turn, because it would be more so about Paul Heyman than it would be about Cody Rhodes, and I don't think Cody Rhodes needs a mouthpiece like Paul Heyman, especially if he's turning heel. He could do it on his own. Are we looking at something like that potentially happening? And secondly, would that work in a way that WWE is thinking?
Yeah, I think it could work. I think because there are a lot of people out there who have Cody fatigue. And so any change in the presentation of Cody's character, I think would be a welcome change. And I think it would it's kind of like when we first saw Heyman with Roman Reigns and it kind of blew people's minds. It just was like, what? It didn't make any sense. And it was so unexpected. And then it turned into this great thing. I'm not saying that this would be on that level in terms of like the success they had with that pairing. But yeah, I think it could work. Do I think it's needed? No, I don't think it's needed. And I do think that we also are looking at a situation here where, and we're seeing it now, with the Bron Breakker, Oba Femi stuff, where it's almost like, not that it's all about Heyman, but there's Heyman again, like right in the middle of it. And people are speculating about who Heyman is maybe going to align with. And it just reminds me of that night one main event from WrestleMania last year, where it was all about Heyman. And you do run into a situation where you don't want all of these things to always be about Paul Heyman, right? It shouldn't just be about him. He doesn't need to be part of all of these different things. I don't think he needs to be a part of this either. But if at some point, and I don't think this is happening now, I don't think this is, some people heard that line and think it's imminently happening, or he's going to help Cody at Sunday night's main event. I don't see that. But if it were to happen at some point, I'd be okay with it and seeing, how it plays out, just because they got to do something different with Cody. I mean, it's just, at this point, I think anything different would be a welcome change from what we're used to getting.
Yeah.
Even this new attitude that he has on TV.
Yeah, I said last week, I'm going to say it again. I hope Randy kind of convinces Cody in action, not theoretically them joining up and forming some sort of faction. But I hope Cody sees that Randy's way is the right way, and he does it on his own. I want to see the jet black hair. I want to see Cody just go, be a Viper himself. I don't think he necessarily needs Paul Heyman, but we'll see what happens. Because at that point, then it's going to be all about Paul Heyman and not Cody Rhodes. And I think Cody has the talent enough to stand alone as a heel on his own without Paul Heyman. But we'll see what happens there. Looking forward to the match, and that's happening at Sunday night's main event. So that was SmackDown. Again, not much outside of the Owens and Punk stuff, but there was plenty to complain about. Moving over to Raw, we had a little bit of a better show on Monday. Last night, we got more of the LA Knight Solo Sikoa pairing with the Usos. That was the main event. We'll touch upon that in a second. We had that great opening segment with Solo once again, just kind of showing his comedic timing and his charisma. He did the whole Neo from the Matrix thing when Jey Uso did the bang, and he's floating there like Neo, dodging bullets. Everybody had a really great time with that. Stephanie,
that reminded me of remember Bullet Time Mode from Max Payne?
Never played Max Payne.
You never played Max Payne?
No.
Wow.
Yeah.
Played Warzone, but you didn't play Max Payne.
No. Heard of it, but never played it. Never had any interest in it. Yeah, so we had Stephanie and Roxanne. This was Stephanie's first match since WrestleMania, and she lost the title to Liv Morgan. I guess we'll start there. What'd you think of her return, Jason, in the ring? I felt like it was okay, but the beginning of this match was a little rocky, and I just kind of chalked that up to her being away for 4 months.
Yeah, I mean, they just weren't on the same page there at the beginning. There was one point where they kind of fell into the ropes.
Yeah.
And the crowd was, again, they were church silent here for most of this match until she finally teased the devil's kiss, and then they suddenly cared and they woke up. And the tail end of the match was better than the beginning of it. It wasn't her best match. I'm just happy that she's back finally in the ring after 4 months. It gives the women's division, as with Becky being back, gives the women's division on Mondays a shot in the arm. This was a win to get her back in the win column so that they could set up the announcement for later in the show that in 2 weeks she's getting her rematch, which means we're getting a Liv Morgan title defense on television, which is great. I know it. I'm shocked. So that'll be in 2 weeks. I think they're in Alabama. That's the first Raw live coming out of all these tape shows, September 7th. And so she'll get her match then. I'm not expecting a title change on that show. I think all roads probably lead to a three-way dance between these three. But I'm just glad that she's finally back in the ring. She was gone long enough. I don't know if she's going to, have a singles match with Becky at some point coming out of the match with Liv, or if they'll just go into a three-way. But yeah, I mean, I'm just happy she's back.
Yeah, division is, still needs work. We need to add another couple of women to the overall division.
Lola.
Lola's coming. I said we need to start kind of getting Roxy along. I think the Judgment Day is actually having a negative impact on Roxy, whereas we thought it would be a great thing. It's not a great thing anymore. I think they need to break her away. She's my favorite to win Money in the Bank. Hopefully that is the direction that they're going for. But the division's a lot better off now than it was going into SummerSlam. So EO's back. So we got Soul. It's looking better than SmackDown. It was actually the opposite way a couple of months ago. Now Raw. Lyra.
EO.
Yeah, got a lot of good talent there. The best match of the night, and one of the best matches that WWE's done on TV all year on Monday, was Rey Fenix and Dragon Lee. Number one contender tournament match, semifinal match here in the Roman Reigns Lucha tournament. This was fucking great. I said last night, Jason, I was so happy because those first round matches didn't really do anything for me, and a lot of the matches were very predictable. I am so glad they gave these guys near 14 minutes to just go out there and just kill it. That was the best Rey Fenix match I think he had since he joined WWE. And Dragon Lee is phenomenal. This was a great match.
Yeah, and the only quibble I have is I would have flipped the order of the two matches. So I would have had this match come on after the Penta match, just because there was no drama in the Penta match.
Yeah.
Later in the show at La Parka, I said on my review, unless the referee botched the count and La Parka accidentally won the match, that was the only way he was going to win. But there was some question about what they would do in the Phoenix and Dragon Lee match. There at least was some doubt as to what the outcome would be. So I would have run that match second, and then you could still do this the face off, the stare down later between the two brothers. But outside of that, yeah, I mean, this was great. It was easily the best thing on the show, certainly match-wise, and the best match of the tournament so far, and the right outcome, because it gets us to the match that I think most people wanted to see, which is brother versus brother, their first match against each other in, I think, 6 years since Dynamite back in 2020. It's been a while since they wrestled each other. And it's going to be great. And with any hope, again, coming out of this tournament, they'll set up the tag team match for Worlds Collide that I pitched, all those weeks ago, which I just think would make all the sense in the world to do on that show.
Yeah, I'm glad they made this decision to have Rey Fenix go over. I know there was a little hesitation there from the fans thinking that Dragon Lee was going to go on and win, but WWE absolutely made the right decision, and good on them for making that call. We had Oba and Bron contract signing for Sunday night's main event. I thought this was a refreshing face-to-face promo battle between these two. I think if you give Bron Breakker a microphone and Oba Femi a microphone and just let them speak as the two young, hungry lions that they are on the Monday Night Raw roster, I think some great things will happen. But Oba here called Breakker an angry orange man. And then he said if Bron showed up in 2002 and had to run against John Cena, that Bron would have been the man. And if Bron had showed up in 2015 to run against whoever the big dog was then, wink, wink.
Yeah, and I laughed at this part because if he had come along in 2015 and was up against the big dog, we know exactly who Vince McMahon would have sided with. So Bron Breakker would not have been the face of WWE in 2015.
No.
But for the sake of this argument here, we'll pretend that he would have been.
And then Bron would have been the man, he said. But it's 2026, and Bron has to run against Oba Femi, so he has no shot of being the man around here on Monday nights. Bron thinks it's funny that the crowd chants for Oba, and that Oba thinks he can compete with Bron. He promised to take Oba into deep waters and show that Oba couldn't hang with him, and Bron will go down in history as the guy that Oba Femi cannot beat. So they signed the contract. He walked over to Oba, but instead Breakker shoved the contract into Paul Heyman's chest and asked if Oba's daddy should sign the contract. Breakker then hit Oba with a cheap shot. They brawled. Austin Theory ran out. Oba pizza tossed him through the contract table because everybody's got to go through a contract table. So Breakker then caught Oba with a clothesline, and they brawled. Oba sent Breakker packing out to the floor with a big clothesline. And like I said, he put Theory through the table. He grabbed the contract, signed it, tossed it to Breakker. He said Breakker was running away from him, but he cannot do that on Sunday night's main event. I am looking forward to this match, Jason. We had Punk and Roman at WrestleMania. We had Punk and Cody at SummerSlam. This is the other biggest match that they have at their disposal. I'm very much looking forward to seeing what these two produce in a couple of weeks. The X factor here is Bronson Reed. Now, I say that because, A, we've seen pictures of how incredible he's looked now post-surgery. B, there was a video of him walking into WWE headquarters just last week. So the report was that he's imminently on his way back. So my question to you is, being that Raw is focusing on Bron Breakker and Oba Femi, and now everybody's kind of gaining traction on Bronson Reed and the way he looks and getting hype around his return, do we potentially see him at Sunday night's main event interject himself into this match?
Well, just to correct you on something you said, the other biggest match that we could get right now being Oba and Bron, the other biggest match that we can get right now is Oba and Roman. And I'm sure they're saving that probably for Mania next year.
Yeah.
In terms of the current sort of up and coming group of new generation talent that they have, this is the match right here. And as far as Bronson Reed goes, once the report came out a week ago, however long ago it was, that his return was imminent, and it makes sense because from where he got hurt, he should be back around now. By now, I think absolutely 100% we see him at Sunday night's main event. Whether or not he causes some sort of DQ, fuck finish, or he helps Breakker beat Oba, which is what I think is going to happen. Yeah, I mean, that's the perfect place for him to return. And then you can branch off and you can do Oba and Bronson Reed. And then you can always circle back around to Oba and Bron Breakker again at some point, maybe even next year, but whenever it may be. And it's perfect because this gives people at or near the top of the card, this gives Oba Femi access to those people to work with them in the meantime, because we got a long ways to go before we get to the Royal Rumble. And you don't want to be in a position here where they don't really have anything of substance for Oba to do, because nothing else really makes sense other than him going after the World Heavyweight Championship. And clearly they're not ready for that right now. So what the hell do you do with the guy? Him working with like the top guys in the division is probably the best position for him to be in. Yeah. And for Bronson Reed, we've only seen a couple of photos. He looks in the best shape of his life. And I'm a Bronson Reed fan. I'm a fan of his work, his matches. I would love to see him get a shot. Everyone's always talking about Bron Breakker and Oba Femi and like certain names that they single out as like future world champions and future WrestleMania headliners. I'm not saying Bronson Reed will be a WrestleMania headliner, but why can't he be in that conversation? If he comes back healthy and he's in, again, the best shape of his life, and he's also got Heyman at his side, he's kind of in that mix. I think we should, put some respect on his name and keep his name in that conversation too. And not just to go in there and lose to Oba Femi, but even beyond that. Like, hopefully he's got big things in his future. Because he's clearly put the work in, right, that he needed to put in. He could be a big difference maker at the top of the card there on Raw. You know, there were a bunch of people that got injured, unfortunately. Logan Paul's another one. It'll be nice to get him back, right? It'll be, again, a nice shot in the arm there for that kind of mid to upper mid card part of the Raw roster. And I hope if he could stay healthy, I think that, you know, maybe he could be champion at some point. Who's to say? Why not? Why not?
Yeah, why not? I mean, I agree with you. WrestleVotes is saying, according to a source with knowledge of the situation, Reed is set to return as a key main event level heel with the intention of him being elevated up the card. That same source also noted that Reed's return is something that the company is earmarked for a number of months with a potential program with Oba Femi later this year. So there you go. WrestleVotes is saying it, and it looks like we could be right on track for that. So very much looking forward to his return and this match with Bron Breakker and Oba Femi at Sunday night's main event. But moving on from there, we had Javon Evans and Big Cass. This was Big Cass's first match back with WWE in 8 years. And he pinned Javon Evans in about 9 minutes. Now, clearly, he had to win his return match, but it came at the cost of beating Javon Evans, who's on a nice string of momentum, who then got attacked by the Judgment Day, Dominic Mysterio and JD McDonough at the end of the match, but Big Cass got the win with a big boot. What'd you make of this, Jason? A, what'd you think of Cass? And B, does Javon Evans get the short end of the stick here?
No. I thought that they worked this smartly because, like you said, it would have been foolish for Cass to go in there and lose his first match. But they kept Javon strong. I mean, there was a point in the match there where he did his dive. He did that run around the ring, and he dove over the timekeeper's barricade onto Cass, and then he just starts raining shots down on him. Like he's kicking this guy's ass. And by the time it was over, it wasn't Javon bleeding. It was Cass who was bleeding from the mouth. So when it was over, it looked like he was in a real fight. So they kept Javon looking strong, even though he lost. The stuff with Dom and McDonough, I mean, I'm kind of over the whole... I'm over the whole Judgment Day thing to begin with, if we're being perfectly honest.
Me too.
It's just such a fucking bore at this point. But Javon is still, you know, he's clearly someone that they have made a priority. Like you said, he's been on a roll up until last night. He won a whole bunch of matches. He lost one match last night. Who cares? It's one match. Like, he's still a priority for them. He's still in a good spot. Cass had to win this. You can't, they've got the 7-foot guy who's coming in and laying waste to people every single week. And then he goes in there in his first match and loses. What sense would that make? And you said before, he had to win this match. Yes, you and I would say he had to win this match, but we've seen examples before where WWE does the exact opposite. So I was kind of holding my breath and waiting to see what would happen last night. When he won, I'm like, okay, all right.
Well, do you think that they may potentially be setting up Big Cass to join the Judgment Day?
So here's my thought on that. I hope not, because I think the Judgment Day should be blown up.
Yeah.
I don't think it should exist anymore. I think they've gotten a lot of mileage out of it. It was a very successful group, and it's time to put it to bed. If they're not going to do that, and they're going to keep the Judgment Day alive, then I think it's the right move. I think it's the right move to inject some new muscle and new life into the Judgment Day and give them one more male member, because right now they're outnumbered by the female contingent. But it could also benefit Cass. I mean, one of the things about the Judgment Day that really helped, I think, like Damian Priest, for example, and McDonough, it wasn't like just the matches. They get so many segments every single week. Oh, how many fucking Judgment Day clubhouse?
That's like something that you see on Mr. Rogers.
Well, no, I was thinking of The Simpsons, but the clubhouse, the Judgment Day clubhouse segments, and that's really where they were able to flesh those characters out. Like they did with the Judgment Day in those segments when they never did with the MFTs when they were a group on SmackDown. And that could help Cass. Because how many times, like how many more weeks are we going to see him just come out, say nothing, and just beat people up, right? That's fine for now, but at some point you want to try to, flesh that character out a little bit. If the Judgment Day is not going to be disbanded, then yeah, I probably think that's a good move for him and for them.
Judgment Day was getting like 5 or 6 segments a Monday back in the day at the height of their popularity. Now,
Yes,
I mean, they're
they were
still on
getting like
TV a lot.
Danhausen.
I mean, now it's like more like 2 or 3 segments.
Well, because they yes, but and you see why, because there's nothing there.
Yeah.
Like what are they going to do with the existing members that we've seen it already? They've teased heat in the past between Liv and Roxanne. That went nowhere. They dropped it.
Literally.
What happened to that? What happened to
don't know.
that?
She eliminated her from the Royal Rumble.
Long-term storytelling.
Yeah.
You got to be patient.
Sure.
Let them cook.
Now she's holding an IC title, and she's defending it finally on Monday next week against Sol Ruka, but she hasn't really done much with the title.
Yeah, I'm just talking in terms of like Roxanne, not even Raquel. I'm talking Roxanne and Liv. I mean, there was like Roxanne would get this look on her face, like Liv was kind of talking down to her, and she would play along, but you felt like she was scheming, and it was going somewhere. But that was like 5 months ago. It went nowhere.
We remember.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you're gonna tell that story, then fucking tell it, and if you're not, just be done with it, and just stop dicking us around. That's kind of how and here's the other thing. Dominic Mysterio. I know we've talked about this.
The greatest luchador of all time, yeah.
The greatest luchador, and maybe the biggest fumble on that brand all year, compared to what he was doing last year. What the fuck are they doing with Dominic Mysterio? How is the Judgment Day at this point benefiting Dominic Mysterio? It's more of like an anchor around him. I don't see how it's helping him at all.
You know, the last two, we mentioned this last week, right? The last 2 opponents that John Cena had in his final year, Dominic and Gunther, have had their worst years in WWE yet to date.
Yeah, we have to start calling it the John Cena curse. Go from the Danhausen curse to the Cena curse, because
he turned that Red Sox curse onto Dominic and Gunther. I don't know what happened there.
They're in a far different position now than they were back then. I'll just say that. And we know Dom's probably losing that mega title next month to El Grande Americano. And when that happens, he'll have no titles. And what happens then? You know, now that belt is off of him, does he get like a renewed push on Raw? Does he just continue to flounder? I don't know. But to my point about the Judgment Day, if it was actually benefiting people, I would say, okay, it's worth it to keep the group together. I think it's actively working against people like Roxanne and Dom at this point.
Yeah.
I really do.
What I said last night, it's harming Roxy more than anybody. Hopefully she breaks out, wins Money in the Bank, and we get a conclusion to her getting out of that group for sure. Penta La Parka, pretty academic stuff here. Penta pinned La Parka in about 9 minutes. We did have a commercial break, so more like 5 minutes. Like Jason said, the drama there was 0. Everybody knew Penta was going to win. We got Penta and Rey Fenix in the finals of this tournament. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, sir, are they filming this on Friday as a taped show and the finals will be taped?
Yes. So what they're doing is they are taping Monday's Raw and next Friday's SmackDown this Friday.
Uh-huh. Okay.
So both shows will be taped next week. So like next week's SmackDown, those results will be floating around for a good week. And then the following Monday, September 7th, they're back live. And I think that SmackDown on September 11th, I want to say that SmackDown is from Mexico City, as well as the following Raw.
Yeah.
With Triple Mania in between.
We will see. We have to bear with these tape shows. And we always mention when it's a tape show, it very much looks and feels and sounds like a tape show. So we will get that match. So if you guys want to be surprised, stay away from social media, which is what I recommend you do on a normal day, just not when Penta and Rey Fenix are wrestling. So Penta beats La Parka, and then...
Roman Reigns is also returning next week.
Oh, what is this, his 17th return now?
I believe so.
Okay. More returns than anybody in the history of the company, Roman Reigns. And then the main event. We had Usos and Solo Sikoa, LA Knights, tag team match. I mean, you saw one Usos LA Knight match, you've seen them all. It's the same shit every time they're in the ring together. Solo's the only difference here now, a babyface, as opposed to him being a heel several months back. The big story here is the match got thrown out because of Royce Keys. A returning Royce Keys, Jason, came back wearing a black tank top, black jeans, and a face covering, and he wasn't alone.
Well, well, hold on. You're wrong. It was Hobbs.
It was because Corey Graves mentioned Hobbs.
It's funny that he said Hobbs because when I saw him, I thought Hobbs, and he thought Hobbs, and then he quickly corrected himself and said Keys. So we still have Hobbs on the brain. It is a better name.
It is a better name. Powerhouse Hobbs is a much better name than Royce Keys. Yes,
but yes. So he showed up and he tackled, I think it was Jay and Solo through the timekeeper's barricade.
Yep.
He had a bandana, kind of obscuring most of his face, and then they cut to the ring, and we see these two men. Now, I knew who they were right away. I could just tell from like the body type. One of them, Bronco Nima. It was Bronco Nima and Lucian Price. So they're out the mud, OTM from NXT. But Bronco Nima had just joined Perros Del Mal in AAA in June and just recently got booted out of the group, and now we know why. So now he's on the main roster.
Triple H just fucking ruining Undertaker's creative left and right down there.
Yeah, he's ruining Undertaker's creative by booking his fucking champion like shit on Mondays. I think he was already ruining his booking. And I'm sure Shawn Michaels can probably relate. But yeah, so they show up, and I don't know if the people just didn't know who they were or didn't care, or they not exactly a rousing reaction. They were sort of caught off guard, I guess, as we all were by this. And they were in the ring beating up LA Knight and Jimmy Uso. Royce Keys, he was calling the shots, telling him what to do. They cleared off the announce desk. He held Jay and made him watch while the other two picked up Jimmy and then put him through the announce desk.
Very Shield-esque, huh?
Yeah, I mean, kind of. It wasn't a Shield power bomb. I mean, they picked him up by... Actually, you know what they did to him? They did the... isn't that the Divine Dominions finish?
Yeah, it was like a crucifix, Razor's Edge type of power
yeah,
bomb,
and then they put him through the announce desk like that. And so when the show was over, those were the three men who were left standing. And there was one man in particular who was not out there, who did not show up. We know he was there. He was in the back, and that is Jacob Fatu. Because Jacob Fatu was told by Jey Uso earlier, as he was told by Roman Reigns the previous week, to stand down, stand back. And Jey Uso told him to do the same thing, just stay in the back and do nothing. So that's what he did. But Jacob Fatu is the one who they've established on TV has the prior relationship and friendship going back many years with Royce Keys. So now the question becomes, what is his reaction going to be? Like, I would imagine Jey Uso will show up next week on the show and probably get up in Jacob's face and say, did you know about this? Right? He's your boy. And then Jacob can, plead that he knew nothing about it. And it becomes an issue of loyalty, and where do your loyalties lie? And, is he still going to be friends with Royce Keys? And so I would think that's the story that they will tell, over these next several weeks. And Roman, again, if Roman's going to be back on the show next week, he might even call Jacob out on that same thing.
So do you see at the end of all... Now we have the Bloodline. We have Royce Keys and OTM. Fans were calling it, in my chat, the OAKLINE because of the Oakland connection. Do you see Jacob Fatu leaving the Bloodline and joining this group of his friend, obviously Royce Keys, which has been documented on television, and OTM? Do you see him being the leader of his own group to battle Roman in the Bloodline?
I think it's possible. I just don't know with the Bloodline. Then it would seem like they would need one more person.
Yeah,
which could be Zilla, I suppose.
I mean, we did get a vignette of him on the show last night. Very bizarre that we got him and him only.
We did. I think it had more to do, with them trying to, put over the fact that he's going to be part of this NXT show coming up on Sunday
in Texas.
Yes, which is in Edinburgh, Texas. But yeah, they would just have to replace him with somebody else. Like if you, I assume you're having an eye towards War Games when you bring that up. So yeah, I could see that. I could see it. He would have to lead the group, though. I mean,
yeah. I don't think Hobbs or Royce Keys, whatever he's going to go by, I don't think he's big enough to lead a group of his own.
Well, I mean, if it's just going to be a trio, then I think it's fine. If you were going to add people, then yeah. I mean, I would say, like, if Jacob were to end up siding with them, then he would have to be the de facto leader of that group. So I could see that. I could see that as a possibility, especially if they want to maybe have him spike Roman and stand up against Roman soon, like maybe even as soon as Money in the Bank, and then he, bails. Because I think we were always thinking of this in terms of like he'll finally stand up for himself one day, probably when Roman is ready to take another break and he could take over the reins of the Bloodline. But he doesn't like Jey Uso, and Jey Uso doesn't like him. So unless they fall in line, you're not going to have much of a Bloodline left if Jacob is going to be leading the group. So it might actually make more sense, the idea that he would leave and go, link up with a different crew.
Yeah, Jay also threw that Ulafala in Jacob's face last night. That was a really pronounced kind of motion from Jay. Like he told Jacob that we're the captains, and he's not. So, mixed with everything that we've seen with Roman and Jacob and him being belittled, I could absolutely see it.
The people said that a few months ago, Roman had bestowed upon Jacob his own Ulafala.
He did,
and he hasn't worn it.
No. They want you to forget that
it's been forgotten about. I'm like, I could have sworn that he gave him one, and he never comes out wearing it. He looked jealous of the one that was given to the Usos last week, and there's been no mention of the one that was given to him. He doesn't wear it. It's not talked about. It's just weird. I
don't know. Doesn't fit into the current narrative right now. But Jacob is going to be a big priority and a big focus there. OTM, WWE's got to let them get over in the quickest way possible. I did not know. I knew who they were, but I wasn't familiar with their work. A couple of good things about their arrival and Royce Keys being back. One, we get a tag team in the tag team division. Still a lot of work to be done there, which we documented earlier. Two, Royce Keys, I think, and I'm curious to see what you thought, Jason, about Royce Keys. The babyface run that they put him on, giving him the sympathetic backstory, it didn't really do anything for me because all we knew about Hobbs coming over from AEW is that he's a fucking powerhouse, legitimately, and that he's a killer. I mean, he was with Samoa Joe. He's a badass. He was just a bruiser. They came in, tried to make him a sympathetic babyface. They teamed him with Solo and LA Knight at SummerSlam. Now him turning heel, I think, is the right move because I think it gets him in a position to play a role where he feels more like himself, and he gets to show us who he is and where he's from and have that kind of portrayed on television where WWE as a babyface tried to force something that just wasn't there. What do you make of him being a heel now?
I think it's fine. I think that we've seen him in both heel and face mode. So, he's played both roles before. This is a big spot for him to be in. I mean, look, he closed out Raw last night. He's got his own crew that, at least for the time being, he's leading. So it's a good spot. It's like some people were critical of the booking with him so far. I mean, look, it wasn't like they were doing a lot with him, but I think him being in this position now that he's in is a good spot to be in. And as a heel, maybe it comes more natural. It might be a more natural fit for him. So I think it's a good spot. I think it's a good spot for him to be in. And where it's hard to say like who he'll be feuding with, let's say, right? Is he going to be wrestling Roman? Is he going to be wrestling Jacob? Is he going to be wrestling, LA Knight or Solo? I don't know as far as his individual push and like what they have in mind for that. Time will tell. But probably I would have him as a heel also. I mean, if we look at the lay of the land on Monday also, like what is the current makeup, like at the top of the card of heels and baby faces? Like, do they have a need right now for one over the other? Roman is kind of weird. To me, Roman's a heel. So I look at Roman as a heel. LA Knight is I guess LA Knight is their top babyface right now. Rollins, I guess they're giving him time off. So we'll consider him a babyface. Solo's a babyface for now. I still think there's a risk they turn him back.
Yeah, it's just vastly different from SmackDown. I mean, outside Roman, nobody else is on Roman's level on Raw, whereas SmackDown, you got fucking 7 or 8 guys that are just at the top of the card, could main event a show anywhere in the fucking world.
Yes, but when McIntyre comes back, that's why I think he should be on Raw. Question is he a babyface or a heel? It feels to me like they could probably use more heels on Raw, which is another reason why Royce Keys being a heel is probably for the better. Big Cass, he's a heel, but he's not there yet. If they want to try to elevate him to that level, he's not at that point yet. I feel like they could use more heels than baby faces at the moment.
Yeah, I agree on that end. Yeah,
because who would the other top heels be on Raw? I don't.
There is
you
nobody.
have Oba,
unless this group with Hobbs is going to be a huge heel faction. I don't see anybody else being a big heel.
Yeah, I mean, Oba, again, you look at the baby faces. You have Rollins, you have Oba, you have LA Knight, Solo Sikoa.
Bronson Reed.
Well, Bronson Reed will be in the heel column. Yeah. So this is another reason why it's perfect timing for him to be coming back, and you can elevate him to like top heel status. And you have Breakker. So yeah, I mean, getting Reed back would help in that way. And then Keys being a heel, there you go. You got two new heel I don't mean faces, but like two new heel faces now on Monday nights. I think that'll help.
Obviously, we are looking at the makeup of what could be the War Games Survivor Series situation. Do you see WWE potentially this year doing a 3-team War Games match, or do we stick to 2?
I floated that idea in my Raw review last night that they do what they did in NXT in the early years, where they do 3-on-3-on-3.
Yeah.
I think that's a possibility. I don't know if that's something Triple H would want to do. He might want to keep it the traditional 4-on-4, 5-on-5. The way things are lined up right now, you would have Roman. Well, you still got Jacob in there, though. But you could have some trio version of the Bloodline. Yeah, I'm going to say probably not. I think you could get away with doing it, but I just don't think that that's something they're going to want to do.
Yeah, it's interesting because if Jacob joins this new group with Hobbs or Keys, that's 4. Roman would have to find another member, and then the babyface team of LA Knight and Solo would theoretically have to find 2 more members.
Yeah, which is why I feel like they'll probably just have like 2 teams of 5.
Yeah.
And they'll have, they'll have to make friends with other people that are on the roster, and they'll have some weird mix of people on either side.
We will see, but we are definitely looking at some sort of civil war going on with the Bloodline, and now this OAKLINE with Royce Keys leading his own group. We'll see if Jacob Fatu ends up joining that group, but going to be interesting to see it all play out. I'm just glad we're getting some sort of direction with the Bloodline after months of just feeling the same old shit happening with Roman and the Usos every single week, so I'm glad we're getting some story here. That was it on Monday. A decent Raw. Again, nothing overly exciting on Monday night, but the Rey Fenix and Dragon Lee match obviously was the best thing on the show. ESPN. There was some WWE news today. Number 1, ESPN Unlimited is getting a price increase. So you're paying...
As is Peacock.
Yes. Yeah, we talked about the Peacock pricing last week on TNT. Apparently... if you are paying for ESPN Unlimited, you're paying $29.99 a month. That's moving up to $31.99 a month. The annual option, meanwhile, is jumping from $299, $300 a month to $320 a month. If you're a current Peacock subscriber, at least it won't change the price of what you're getting on Sunday night's main event. For now, August 18th, Peacock is increasing prices for new and returning customers around September 17th. We don't have an exact date for that, but right now, the price is going to be as follows. Premium Peacock, Jason, with ads, $12.99 a month. That's up from $10.99. Peacock Premium Plus.
Well, I thought the ESPN increase was the one going into effect on September 17th.
It says here, the report says Peacock will increase its prices for new and returning customers and on or after September 17th. For current customers, depending on their next billing date.
For Peacock?
Yeah.
Okay. Right.
So $12.99 a month up from $10.99. Peacock Premium Plus will be $19.99 a month, a $3 increase from $16.99. It's crazy, Jason, that we're going to be paying, for those who are, I mean, I have Verizon, so I get it with my cable package, luckily. But imagine paying these prices, and number 1, the quality of these PLEs don't change, and 2, you're still paying more for less matches that WWE has continuously given us. 5 matches for these PLEs.
That's the funny part. You're paying more for less. It's amazing. And it honestly, and I said this on Uncrowned today, it's never been more expensive to be a WWE fan than it is today.
Awful.
Now, a lot of people will probably get ESPN Unlimited for free, as I finally do through YouTube TV. It took them long enough. But there are some people who still have to pay for it.
Yeah.
And if you want to watch the show coming up, Sunday night's main event, that's a Peacock subscription right there. I know they have the new Crystal Lake series coming to Peacock. Otherwise, there ain't nothing else I watch on Peacock except WWE stuff. And that's just quarterly. But you got to pay a subscription fee for that. So it's like, and that doesn't include Netflix for Raw.
It is ridiculous out here. Speaking of ESPN, WWE and ESPN were in the news today. Apparently, there was a report from SE Scoops and BJ Bethel. Apparently, he reported this morning that WWE and ESPN, with their current 5-year contract, that ESPN was already making a determination to back out after the current existing contract with WWE is up. So they would not be renewing after this 5-year. So BJ Bethel reported earlier today that ESPN will let its 5-year agreement with WWE expire when it ends 1 year into the deal. The report cited the current media market, culture, and synergy issues between the two companies and cable providers declining to pick up the cost of the ESPN app for their customers. There were other people in the community, namely Andrew Baydala, John Alba, and a few other people. WrestlingNews.co as well has spoken to sources on both sides of the deal, and both dispute the report entirely. The 5-year agreement is worth $1.6 billion. Move WWE's premium live events to ESPN streaming platform beginning in 2025 and runs into 2030. Any renewal decision would be several years away regardless. Now, BJ Bethel is the same guy that reported that the max viewership is 500,000 weekly for AEW, which we all know is bullshit. And then he puts this one out, killing all his credibility. Jason, when you saw this, what was your immediate thought? Because I know we shouldn't really spend much time on this because it's absolutely untrue. What do you feel that ESPN and WWE is a good partner? And B, would you like to see WWE and ESPN kind of sever ties even after this 5 years?
Well, I didn't see this news until after it was already debunked, because I know ESPN put a statement out, one of their PR people. So that's when I even became familiar with what was being reported in the first place, because I was doing other things. And then I saw, I think it was BJ on Twitter who responded to the person from ESPN and said that he linked. I don't know if you saw this.
No, I did not see this.
He posted a tweet and said, "Well, I did reach out." And he posted a link to the ESPN.com fan support page and a submission form. But it's like he opened a ticket. Like if you go to the support page on ESPN.com. As like a fan or a user, there's like a form you can fill out, and evidently he went to that link and filled out a form and didn't hear back from anybody. And I was blown away by this.
I thought he was a journalist who had sources.
Well, ESPN, I mean, their PR people I don't think are too terribly difficult. It's not too terribly difficult to figure out like who the PR person or people would be if you want to reach out to them. I mean, I never dealt with these people in particular, like when I was working in PR, but yeah, if you send something via the form like that, they're probably not going to get it in a timely manner, or it won't be funneled to the person you're trying to get it to. Look, they're a year into a 5-year deal. So do I think a decision has been made that, you know what, this is not working out? When this thing is over in 4 years, we're going to be done. No, I don't think that decision's been made. Can I believe that they're unhappy or they're underwhelmed by the way things have gone if they haven't seen a spike in their subscriptions? Yes, that I can believe. And I mean, remember when they had the deal with Fox? I mean, it was said that it wasn't long into that 5-year deal with Fox. It could have been within a year or two that they already had a sense. They didn't make up their mind for good, but they had a sense that this may not be something that we want to renew at the current price that we paid for it.
Yeah, that's what John Alba said today, that people at Fox were already in the mindset of not renewing about a year into their deal with WWE.
Yeah, and again, I think they did make an offer. It wasn't for the same amount of money. So it's not out of the realm of possibility that these conversations haven't taken place and that they aren't dissatisfied in some ways with the way things have gone. But the idea that they've already made a decision, it's kind of like, okay, that's it. When this is over, we're going to sever ties. I think is jumping the gun, and I don't believe that. I don't believe that to be true. And just because ESPN put a statement out today saying that there's no truth to it or anything, I mean, I take them at their word. They have not made a final decision. That doesn't mean, though, that they aren't necessarily a little underwhelmed by the way things have gone. Do I think that they're a great partner for WWE? They're paying WWE, what is it, $1.6 billion? Is that the figure? They're paying them a lot of money. So if you're WWE, they're the perfect partner because they're the ones that were offering you the most money. When I watch ESPN and they're promoting some of these WWE events, the way they cover them, like I'll see some of these anchors and they'll be talking about, SummerSlam is coming up, and they'll talk about it as if it's like real, or some of the things they do on their shows. It does not feel like the right fit.
No, it does. It's something's off.
It like 16-year-old me, if I saw them covering wrestling like back in the Attitude Era on Sports Center, it would have been fucking amazing, right? It would have been this. I'm watching this and I'm like, this is not the right fit. This is not the right fit because they're covering it, and this is what WWE wants. They want it to be covered like a real sport, and it's not. So it just comes off like this weird mismatch. And then you had the whole controversy, of course, with the letter grades that Andreas Hale was giving them in his reviews, and that turned into a whole like mini controversy. Do I think it's a good fit? I don't. But you got to just keep in mind like what they were going for here. Money, number one. And the whole synergy with Disney and ESPN and the integration between the two. And they felt like, man, this is going to really help up our profile. And so I don't know if WWE would see it that way, but ESPN probably looks at it and goes, we're not getting the full return on this investment that we were maybe hoping, right? But there's still 4 years left in this deal. A lot can change between now and then. You know, a lot can happen between now and the end of this deal. I don't know what their expectations were in terms of subscriptions for ESPN Unlimited. Like, were they really expecting that by working with WWE and partnering with them that those subscriptions would, you know, be at a level much higher than what they're at now?
That's exactly what they thought. Yeah, they thought WWE was going to bring them a whole slew of new subscribers to the platform. Yeah. Meanwhile, people are pirating it, fucking VPNing it, fucking getting it as any way that they can without paying for it.
And we're in an era where they call them premium live events. There's nothing about them that feels premium.
No.
They feel less premium now than ever before.
How could it feel premium if there's 5-6 matches? If you're at WrestleMania, 5 matches on a B-level pay-per-view. How is that premium?
It's not. It's
With
not.
6-minute ads in between 5 matches?
It feels less premium now than ever before in all the PLEs, pay-per-views, whatever you want to call them. So yeah, that I can believe. But do I believe that he's got some inside track that, you know, the die has been cast and the decision has been made and the deal is up no matter what in the next 4 years? No, I don't think that decision's been made.
No, there's no wrestling journalist in the entire community that's going to have those types of sources and that type of information to that streaming deal, network deal. You're not going to get that type of news from those people. That's number one. Nick Khan's going to find a way to get WWE's product on the next streaming platform if it's not ESPN. You know, Jason's talked about it. I've mentioned it here and there. The greatest acquisition for Vince McMahon outside of any talent is Nick Khan. So he's going to do what needs to be right for WWE. And I think the fans want this to be over as soon as possible, whether they sign with a brand new streaming service, go back to Peacock, or just put all the PLEs in the catalog on Netflix. I think fans would be better off with that, honestly.
Well, yes and no. If they wanted to move the PLEs to Netflix, that's one thing. I don't want the catalog on Netflix. I see what they've done with the Raw Vault.
It is very confusing.
It's not confusing. It's fucking awful is what it is. Because they got the rights to the Raw Vault, and then if you go there, it's anemic. Like they just gave up on uploading shit. They don't, dude, it's so inconsistent. I haven't checked in a while. Maybe it's different now. I don't think it is. If you go under like the navigation bar and pick by year, I remember like I looked under 1993 and they had like 7 Raws. Like there were some years where there's literally like half a dozen Raws. And then when they get to the last like 3 or 4 years, I think they have the full years. Who the fuck wants to go back and watch fucking full years of Raw from 2021 or 2022? Who gives a shit? Like,
oh my God.
This is what they do with the Raw Vault. Imagine what they'll do if they get access to everything else. That'd be the worst thing.
You mean to tell me, bro, that you don't want to spend your quality time watching pandemic era Monday Night Raw?
Oh yeah, I can't. Yeah, that's my idea of a good time right there. Let's go back to the Thunderdome. Fuck you. Yeah, keep it on YouTube. If that's what they're going to do, I'd rather they just keep it on YouTube, keep updating the vault. And to me, that's okay with me, if that's all it is.
Cancel your Peacock subscription, go get YouTube Premium, watch it ad-free, and then good to go right there. So that was in the news. Again, that was quickly debunked. So I just wanted to mention that here before we move on to what we will end our show with. I know, exciting. Everybody's thrilled about AEW. We got a big show coming up on Sunday. All In. They are over 41,000, Jason. They may hit the 45,000 goal.
I think the latest number is over 42,000.
Okay.
And if they're if they're increasing at this rate, and then I know there is decent walk up that they usually have over there. I don't think that like somewhere in the range of 47 or 48,000 is unreasonable.
No. I mean, it's still below the last time they were there, but not by much. I mean, it's still a great crowd.
Which would be closer to what you had. I think you had predicted, what, 50,000?
I said they'd get as close to 50,000 as they could, yeah.
I thought they would do like low 40s, like in that 40 to 42 range. They're already at 42.
Yeah.
And there's still, what 5 days or whatever it is that's left to go between now and then.
Yeah.
So getting into the upper 40s seems pretty likely at this point, which, again, if I'm them, I would be thrilled with that number. They did 53 last year. Look, I don't think they're going to top that. I mean, I can't say for sure they won't, but if they come within 5,000 of what they did last year, they should be very happy with that.
Well, they are lucky they have the number that they have right now. They are notoriously just lucky when it comes to walk-ups for their shows. It happens every pay-per-view. They add at least another several thousand tickets walk-up day of. I have not been a big fan of this build at all. I went to the first Wembley with Jason, Jesse rather. I wasn't there with Jason.
I've never been to the UK.
Yeah, he would have had a great time. We had a great time. Jesse and I had a great time. London was great. We met a lot of people. 73,000 people, whatever was reported there. I had vertigo sitting in the fourth row, fifth row. It was a great show. I have been painfully, Jason, bored by this build, coupled with the fact that the shows have had extensively long overruns that just don't do anything for the overall enjoyment of the show. And if you look at the three big matches that they've really focused on, as Jason's StreamYard thing popped up, I got to okay his stay here. Like he's staying in a fucking hotel.
The problem is I have to keep an eye on it now on my end. And I'm sure I will probably not pay attention to it.
No.
And the internet gremlins will get me.
Yes.
We'll see.
The three big matches I said, Willow, Mercedes, Kenny, Ospreay, and what's the other one?
Cope and Christian.
Cope and Christian, Bucks. I mean, have you ever seen, barring Mercedes and Willow, I think they've done a decent job there. I feel like more could obviously be done. There's still a lot of meat left on that bone. Jason, outside the three big matches that we have this year compared to every other year that we've gotten All In, do you feel like they've kind of, I don't know, I don't want to really say it's terrible, but the effort just isn't there this year as compared to last year's?
I'm trying to think back to like last year's build. I don't even remember too much.
Or even the year before that, the last time they were in Wembley.
Oh, year before that. Yeah, it was 2 years ago. I mean, it's kind of a mixed bag to me. There are some things I think they're doing well. I've enjoyed the build to Mercedes and Willow. I think what they've done is fine. And it feels like, again, that is the biggest women's match that they could do right now. I do think it was the right choice over going with Mercedes and Tekla, even though I'm disappointed they didn't have anything else for Tekla. I haven't even heard her
fucking
name.
radio silence with her.
Yeah, I haven't heard her name mentioned. Nothing. So I think the build for that has been fine. The build for Cope and Christian and the Bucks really has taken a back seat in recent weeks.
And that's shocking because this is a legit dream match for many people.
Yeah, first time ever. And so they haven't really done a whole lot with that after that sit down. Remember that pre-tape sit down, but that was 3 or 4 weeks ago.
That was very good stuff.
And so they haven't really done anything much with that since. And then the main event, and again, we've talked about the main event and, you know, whether or not you are of the belief that this should be the main event or if MJF should have been in the main event. They've really worked very hard the last couple of weeks to establish Kenny Omega as the clear heel in this scenario. And there is, you know,
I think kind of comical when you say that, but go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know that the fans are going to necessarily take him that way, but that's what they've tried to do. That's what they did on Wednesday last week when he put him to the table with the one-winged
It's like they realized, hey, man, we need a heel for this match. I mean, You had the biggest heel in the fucking company just months ago.
And they had one. Yeah, they had one. But this is the match they chose to go with, and it's still a big match. It's just a weird dynamic because the Kenny Omega that we now see on TV is very different than the Kenny Omega we saw even 4 weeks ago on TV. And I guess the story they're trying to go with here in a way is that the championship maybe has corrupted him again, and it's kind of changing him again. Whatever the story is, I thought that the segment they did with them, the pre-tape face-to-face sit-down interview on Wednesday, was the best thing they've done with them this entire build.
Easily.
It went longer than it should have. I think it went a little long, but I thought it was really well done. And so I like that. The overall build, it's not as strong as some of the other world title match builds we've had for All In the past. Definitely not. It's definitely not as strong as what we had a few years ago, but that's why I say it's been a mixed bag. Some of it I've liked. Some of it's been very forced in a way.
I don't even think it was as strong as the promos that we've seen with MJF and Ospreay. Even before this match was announced, I thought they had incredibly strong segments on television.
Well, if you remember Beach Break, Ospreay and MJF got into it. I think Ospreay was being interviewed outdoors by Renee earlier in the show, and then MJF showed up, and they had to be pulled apart.
Well, yeah, MJF spit on him.
Yeah, and it made me want to see them. Maybe want to see them wrestle, and they weren't even planning on doing the fucking match. So. If it were me, I would have loved to have seen it. I know the argument. Oh, they already did it. They already did it in Wembley, and Ospreay beat him for a lesser title.
This is all I hear.
So I get it. I get it, but still, it doesn't mean that it would have been a weak world championship match here.
I think people have short-term memories. The two matches that they had were two of the best matches that AEW has ever put on. I don't understand that logic there.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but whatever. They made the decision that they made. I don't know if it was injury related to MJF's leg. I who knows? Who knows? I'll tell you what's weird. The way they promoted Andrade and MJF as number 1 and number 2 in this gauntlet, they promoted it like it's a singles match. So why didn't they just make it a singles match?
You would never know that. Tommaso Ciampa also qualified for this gauntlet match,
Well, Ciampa and who's the other name they announced? Commander.
When did he advance?
I think Commander is qualified. I think he's in. Well, I'm sure he'll be in either way. But the point is, like, you would look at the build-up for this match and think it was a singles match. And I'm like, and it doesn't have to be a gauntlet. It could easily be a singles match. Andrade stole his ring. MJF is walking around still with the Triple B. They have something to fight over, and yet they're part of a gauntlet. So to me, that's a little weird. The international title stuff, I think, has been good. I've liked the build to that. They did the best they could with Takeshita missing 4 weeks or whatever it was. That's going to be a fucking amazing match, I'm sure. And I think it's been a pretty decent build to that. And then I look at the rest of the card, and I don't really much care for the build to a lot of the other matches. The women's tag team title match, it's fine. It's been
it's been telegraphed for the last 7 months. We've seen it.
I mean, we've been expecting this for months. I mean, and they haven't really done a whole lot to get me terribly excited. What else do we have? There's a TNT title match, and then there's a few other matches.
But I got the whole card pulled up.
Yeah, we'll go through the whole card. Yeah. So it's been to me, it's been a mixed bag. It's not all bad. It's not all great. It doesn't feel like, oh man, there's this big all-in Wembley Stadium show coming up this Sunday. Part of that is also the fact that the novelty kind of wears off when you keep going back. This is their third time now?
Yep.
So that's part of it too. But you look at some of the matches that are on this card, and it has the potential to be a great fucking pay-per-view. And that's always the case with these shows. On paper, there's some strong matches, and it's all on the execution. And you wait and see, and we'll see how the show ends up. But to me, it's going to be hard to top Double or Nothing. To me, Double or Nothing is still the pay-per-view of the year in any promotion that I've seen.
I agree. I don't even think this show on Sunday is going to top Double or Nothing. Honestly,
it might not. Yeah, it might not. It might not. But so there are things that I'm looking forward to more than others. We'll go through the card now. I don't think the card is complete. I'm sure they're going to add. I think they would add maybe one more match to the main card, and then whatever else they add is probably going to be shoved into the pre-show. Would be my guess.
Well,
now, one more thing. So I think, and again, the UK folks can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they have a curfew.
They do. I was literally just going to say that. They do.
Okay,
they do.
So go ahead. Yeah, go
ahead. 1 p.m. start time, 5:30 hard out. They have to be out by 5:30 UK time.
1 p.m. is the start time for the main card.
Yes.
Okay. So the pre-show starts, I assume, is it 11:30 or 12?
It could be here 11:30. I was thinking it's 12, but it could be 11:30.
So let's start from the main card. Main card starts at 1. 5:30 would be what, 4.5 hours?
Yep.
That sounds about right. And it's going to be easier to tolerate just the fact that it's in the middle of the day.
Yes.
Thank God. And they're not starting this at 7 or 8 o'clock at night and going 5 hours. So for us, it's going to be a lot more tolerable that way. So I'm looking forward to it in that regard. It'll be very different from your typical AEW pay-per-view, where by the time it's over, the sun will still be out. So I enjoy that aspect of it. That's what I like about these Wembley shows.
Yeah, 5:30 here Eastern time, UK time. They got to be out with whatever time they have over there. What is they? 5 hours ahead, 6 hours ahead over there? I'm not sure.
I think it's 6. I think so.
11:30. We'll start with this. This is, to me, kind of all over the place. Not terribly excited about this outside of the inclusion of Swerve and potentially Austin Creed, the former Xavier Woods, and Kofi. The New Day, don't know what their names are going to be now in AEW. They are rumored to be heading here. So I think we'll see them on Sunday. This big trio's just mess, Jason. On Wednesday, we got Brodito and we got Demand with the Lethal Twist, and we got all these teams. The fucking dogs are out there, and the conglomeration. Hangman said meet them under the Wembley
arch.
The arch, right? And it almost sounded like there was going to be like a 5 or 6 team scramble for the trio championships. Now, 1, that sounds awful. 2, I don't want to see the New Day in a match like that. I think that's just going to take away from the impact of them showing up and making a big impact, just them two. What do you make of that, and why does Tony feel like that's a good idea here?
Well, I mean, we don't know for sure if it's them. I think both of us assume it's going to be them and not the Hurt Syndicate, because they just don't do anything with the Hurt Syndicate. The Hurt Syndicate show up on Collision.
They're colliders.
They were on Collision this week, and I think they beat up a bunch of people and then left and lost and didn't give a shit. They're like the APA now. I mean, I guess that's their gimmick. So yeah, I think we both assume it's going to be Kofi and Creed. Not the way I would have debuted them if it is going to be a 5 or 6 team kind of clusterfuck. I would rather see them debut in a match where it's a little more focused. But if they're going to debut in this match, then I think it would be foolish for them not to win, especially when you consider they're teamed up with a former world champion. And this is one of the reasons why this show, I think, in some ways does feel kind of underwhelming, is that here you have a match where it feels like we don't really have anything else for them to do on an individual basis, so we'll just kind of shove them all into one match, and it includes 2 former world champions, Hangman and Swerve, who really should have something more focused on this show, and instead they're being shoved into trios hell, and so I'm not really a big fan of that. But Swerve, let's say Swerve and Happy Day, or whatever they're going to call themselves, you have Hangman and Brodito. Bang Bang Gang, I think Jay White cut a promo on Collision and said they would be in it. So you got the Bang Bang Gang, the Dogs, I would imagine some combination of the Don Callis family will be in here.
Conglomeration.
The
Demand. Yeah, the 7.
The Lethal Twist.
Yep.
So was that 7 or 8?
That's 8.
And I still feel like we're missing 1 or 2. Like, it's ridiculous.
Is this going to be their version of Stadium Stampede for Wembley?
It may be. It could be, because there is no Stadium Stampede. Maybe this is the de facto Stadium Stampede. I would think, though, they would want to advertise it as that. If it was going to be some, like, Stadium Stampede type match, why wouldn't they advertise it as that?
Right now, it's advertised as a multi-trios match. Okay.
Well, I mean, look, multi-trios, we just listed off 7 or 8 trios.
Yeah.
Are you going to work it like a regular tag team match where the whole apron is just full of people just standing there? Like, how does that even work? I don't
want to see that. I think that sounds fucking awful.
Well, then we're probably looking at a Stadium Stampede type of clusterfuck. And I think whatever kind of match it is, Swerve and New Day have to win.
You'd think, yeah.
How are you going to debut them in this match if they do and then they don't win?
So the Demand beat the Conglomeration. They held the title for a week. Then they lost it to Brodito, who are the current champions, only to then drop it again to Swerve and potentially the New Day?
Sure. It's the trios belt. Who gives a shit? Who cares?
I guess. I would rather Swerve and Hangman being something a little bit more promising.
Yes,
but
that's what I said. But this is what happens when Hangman can't wrestle for the World Championship. He gets stuck in a situation
damn that
like this.
MJF. Damn him.
Yeah, damn him. Let's put the heat where it belongs. Let's put the heat on MJF because we still believe.
Three-way international championship. Kyle Fletcher, Konosuke Takeshita, and Kazuchika Okada. So this is a battle of the Don Callis family here. Jason's looking forward to this. I'm looking forward to this. Outside of the Kenny Ospreay match, this could legitimately be the match of the night. And I'm looking forward to this myself. I am going with a Kyle Fletcher retaining the championship here.
I'm going with Takeshita regaining the championship because I just feel like they've leaned a little too heavily into the whole Takeshita Fletcher. When I win, I need you to support me because it's still in the family. And then, the other guy says the same thing. And it's almost like they're forgetting Takeshita is in this match. Plus, Takeshita, the only reason I think he even lost it was because he was going away. So now he's back. Yeah. He didn't have it for very long. I mean, he had it for 6 weeks.
Well, so let me run this by. I think you're probably going to be on the same wavelength as me here. I could see Fletcher losing for sure. The title goes back to Takeshita. I think that's the right move. I don't think Okada needs the belt again. He didn't really do much with it to begin with.
He had it a long time anyway.
Yeah. So if Fletcher loses the championship and Ospreay wins the championship, I would love to see Fletcher finally advance into the main event scene and him and Ospreay kind of rekindle what they had last year. Do you see Fletcher becoming a legit world title contender now if he loses the championship, being that Ospreay is more than likely going to be the champion?
I mean, I think it would be the natural evolution for him, but not right away. I wouldn't do it right away. I think Moxley would be first in line.
Yeah.
And, Ospreay would have that belt for a while, so you don't have to do it right away. But at some point, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's just a natural match to do.
Yeah, I think it's time for Fletcher. He's too good not to be in that role, but I think Jason is probably going to be correct. Takeshita for the win here with the international title on the line, three-way. Kevin Knight, Darby Allin. This is for the TNT Championship. False count anywhere match. There was a situation that happened on Dynamite. This went deep into the 10 o'clock hour. I don't know why they didn't run this earlier. It just felt like at that point everybody wanted the show to be over. So Darby had.
Well, it's actually hurting their ratings.
It is. So I don't know what the reason is.
I don't know why they. Yeah, I mean, this is the second time now the show has gone 35 minutes over time, and that's not a good thing when it comes to calculating the ratings. It actually drags the rating down. So maybe because of that, maybe they'll cut them a little shorter now.
Yeah, I hope so. I don't mind a 10 or 15 minute overrun, but 35 minutes? That's just ridiculous. So Kevin Knight and Darby Allin, there was a situation that happened on Dynamite where Darby Allin was brought on out. Kevin Knight wanted to have a war with him. Fireworks go off, Jason. This was a very, I guess, a throwback to the Jeff Hardy fireworks mishap that happened many, many years ago. He got kind of engulfed in the fireworks. He got stretchered out. And there was a situation backstage where Kevin Knight was following the gurney. And all of a sudden, he gets into like this kind of verbal back and forth with Sting's son. So we see Steve Borden there, and apparently they're setting up something potentially post All In there. Whether he's the champion or not, Kevin Knight, I don't know. But what do you make of Sting's son potentially having a program with Kevin Knight coming out of All In?
I mean, look, Darby's been training him, and I think that they would like to. I don't know if they're testing the waters with him because his experience level is still very low. I mean, he hasn't been doing this for very long. If they wanted to do like a television match with him, I could see that. I don't think this is their way of introducing him as like a full-time member of the roster. So it might just be, like a quick angle, like a one and done type of thing. I think that Kevin Knight is going to retain the title. I think he should retain the title. And then coming out of the show, if they wanted to get like a Dynamite match out of it, you could do it. But again, he's a greenhorn. He hasn't been doing this for very long. I don't think that with all of the far more experienced talent that are struggling to get television time on these shows that we need, Stephen Borden to be, consistently on TV every single week. I don't really think that's something that people are clamoring for right now.
I don't know what AEW's logic is. Like, to me, Kevin Knight's a fantastic talent, but the heel turn has not done him any favors. I don't feel like he's really taken it to the next level. I think it's actually had more of a negative impact than it has a positive impact. It makes you wonder why they didn't use Sting's son in the build here for Darby and have Kevin Knight really get some legitimate heel heat by beating up someone who Darby finds, like family, like Sting and his sons. Why weren't they used in a way where it could get Kevin Knight a lot of heat coming into this match and then have him drop the title to Darby?
Kevin Knight's not beating up Sting now. Come on now.
No, Sting's son. I'm not talking about him beating up Sting.
You said Sting, though, but Sting's son is one thing, but to beat up Sting and his son, I mean, yes, in your mind, that might get them a lot of heat, but Kevin Knight beating up Sting is ridiculous. As far as his son, sure, you could have done like the David Flair thing that they did with Undertaker and David Flair. I think that was leading into the Undertaker-Ric Flair match of WrestleMania 18, where, if my timeline is correct, they did it during that period, that great fucking angle where, and if you remember, he beat up David Flair at like the, there was no PC back then, but wherever it was that they did their training, and he beat the crap out of this guy, like in the showers. And then David Flair is sitting, he's all slumped down, bleeding all over himself. Undertaker sits down next to him. And as David is kind of waking up, he just punches him in the head again. It's like, what are you doing? He goes, I'm kicking your ass. And then he punches him again. I'm like, this is fucking great. They could have done something like that, where Kevin Knight beat the piss out of Sting Jr. to get more heat on things, but they chose not to tell that story. And I think maybe it could very well be because they want to actually bring him to TV and have him wrestle, and they didn't want to use him in a way where, he would have been made to look weak. So maybe that was why they didn't do it. But he's had, how many matches has he had? Like, has he even had half a dozen matches yet? I
have no idea. I didn't even realize he had one match.
He's had a few, but like the idea that you're talking about now is him having maybe a match or a feud with Kevin Knight, the TNT champion. Like, why?
Maybe a tag team match with Darby against Kevin Knight and somebody else. I don't know.
You could do it, but like, why? Who asked for this? Like, what?
Nobody asked for it.
No, nobody did. Nobody asked for this. So I'm just very indifferent towards the whole thing. I don't really care. It doesn't do much for me.
So Kevin Knight retaining the title, huh?
I believe so. Yeah.
Okay. I'm going with Kevin Knight. I don't think Darby needs the championship. I think we've been there, done that. Divine Dominion, Lena Cross and Megan Bayne defend the women's tag team titles against the Brawling Birds, Alex Windsor and Jamie Hayter. This is clearly leading to new champions because of where the setting is at Wembley Stadium.
Simple as that.
Very predictable.
I mean, this has been telegraphed now for months, and Divine Dominion have been unbeatable for months. If not the Brawling Birds, then who?
I don't know.
Who, if not them?
I think after this, all I will say is I think Megan Bayne needs to be advanced up into a main event level program. I think it's about time there. She's wasted away in the tag team division.
Well, let's not forget about Lena Cross, too. I think Lena Cross would make a fine TBS title contender.
Yes. Let's do that. I like that, too. Brawling Birds for the championships. So we have the Continental Challenge Cup. Right now, it's Jon Moxley or Claudio versus Kyle O'Reilly or Nigel McGuinness. So I see what Tony Khan is doing here. What I don't want him to do, these are two of the worst options because we've seen how many Kyle O'Reilly, Jon Moxley matches have we seen? Like 5?
Well, okay. So this goes back to last year, and we've seen it a whole bunch of times. Actually, Kyle O'Reilly has tapped out Jon Moxley, I believe, twice. I think two different occasions. One of which I think was in Blood and Guts. And then they wrestled, if you remember, to a 20-minute draw on television back in May. And then a Double or Nothing, they wrestled for the Continental title. And Moxley beat him. So it's been a whole bunch of times. And they had some great matches together, don't get me wrong. The idea of Kyle O'Reilly, though, being the one to advance and go to the finals to wrestle Jon Moxley, to me, would be terrible. Like, I have zero interest in seeing that. And they've told that story already. And I don't think he's advancing. So what we're left with here, let's back up a little bit. The match on Saturday, this past Saturday, was supposed to be Eddie Kingston against Claudio. And on Friday, before the Ring of Honor pay-per-view, Tony said, well, there's a medical issue. And so Eddie isn't cleared. So they pulled him from the match, and they replaced him instead with the winner of the match from the Ring of Honor pay-per-view between Damian Priest and Damian Priest, Adam Priest, Adam Priest, and Daniel Garcia. So Garcia won. We got Death Rider against Death Rider on Collision, and Claudio beat him. So now we're getting another Death Rider versus Death Rider match tomorrow. The last time that Moxley and Claudio wrestled, Claudio beat him. That was in the Continental Classic back in December. So I'm certain that Moxley, he's made it this far. He's going to the finals. Like, there's no doubt, zero doubt. Jon Moxley will be in the final. Is it going to be Kyle O'Reilly or is it going to be Nigel McGuinness? And at this point, I think he just wants to tell the story of Nigel with this phony ankle injury, overcoming the injury, getting his Wembley moment, and going in there against Jon Moxley. Now, to me, as dominant as Jon Moxley has he been beaten at all this year? Has he lost any singles match this year?
No, I don't think he's lost a single match. He might have gone to a time limit here or there, but that's about it.
Okay, so he's been unbeatable this year. Okay, since becoming the Continental Champion. He's been protected. He's won all of his matches. I don't like the idea of Nigel McGuinness, the announcer, with the bad leg, being the one to go in there and finally beat Jon Moxley. I believe that's what's going to happen, though. I believe we're going to get Moxley and Nigel, and they're going to give Nigel this big Wembley moment, and he's going to win the Continental title. And the reason I believe this is I still believe, and this all depends on the match order here, but I'm going to say that this match goes on before the Casino Gauntlet. And this will not be the last time we see Jon Moxley on this show.
Now, this is the same angle that you ran back a couple weeks ago. You mentioned Moxley in the Gauntlet match, but not in this context.
It's the same basic idea, but it's a different scenario because in that case, I thought maybe they would go with Jay White over Jon Moxley, and they didn't do that. But I think, because to me, if you're going to go and do Moxley and Ospreay coming out of All In, possibly even at All Out, you got to get that title off of him. He does not need the Continental title. This is an opportunity for them to get the belt off him. You give the people a nice little moment at Wembley. He reemerges later on in the Gauntlet match as a surprise entrant, and he wins. And he gets the contract. And now he has got himself a guaranteed championship match whenever he wants against whoever the champion is going to be. And sure, does he need the contract to convince Will Ospreay, if Ospreay becomes champion, to give him a title shot? Of course he doesn't need it, but it makes sense. If that's the direction that you're going to go in, get this belt off him and get him a contract for a world title match. And that's how I see it playing out.
I could see it playing out that way. I think that's sound reasoning. I am not interested in a fucking thing you said for the last 3 minutes.
I'm not terribly interested in it myself. I'm just telling you what I think is going to happen and how it's going to play out. Like, if it were up to me, Nigel McGuinness would not be in the finals of this tournament.
Nigel McGuinness shouldn't even be wrestling, in my opinion. We've been there, done that with this guy.
The final of this tournament should have been Jay White and Jon Moxley.
Yes. Which they had a very good match on Wednesday.
That was the best that Jay White has looked since he came back.
I don't get it. Tony wants the big moment. Nigel got his moment. The last time they were Wembley, he was in the Gauntlet match. Now he's getting a second Wembley moment. I don't know. We'll see. Speaking of the Gauntlet match, Jason just said that he thinks Jon Moxley is winning it if he loses to Nigel McGuinness, depending on the match order. So Andrade and MJF have been the two focused talents in the Gauntlet. We don't know who will be in the Gauntlet alongside them. I'm sure there'll be some surprises. We mentioned Dragunov. He is free and clear to do whatever he wants.
Yeah, I think he's going to be in there.
Who else knows who might show up? I don't know. The Gauntlet match, the last time they had a Gauntlet match at All In, it wasn't terribly exciting. I think the one where Ricochet debuted the year prior, that was a really good one. At the last Wembley show, did they have a women's Gauntlet? I have to see. I have all. Let me see. That was, let's see, All In 2025. I think they had one last year, right?
2024. Oh, wait, did they have one last year?
Let me see.
Okay, maybe it was Texas.
Yes, they did have Athena won that one.
That's right.
Last year in Texas. They did nothing with that. That was a waste. The year prior, 24.
So then, do you think they're saving the women's casino gauntlet for later this year on a different pay-per-view?
Yeah, there was no women's gauntlet match in 24.
Okay, but they did have one last year.
They did have one last year. Athena won it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, no, people saying Sheamus, like, again, Sheamus is not free until October 1st.
Yeah.
So that will not be possible. But Dragunov is free right now, and I think he will be in there.
All right. I'm going to leave this one open-ended. I mean, if it was me, you know,
let me see this. Do you think it's either MJF or Andrade winning this match?
Yeah.
Do you think so?
If I had a choice in the matter, I would give it to MJF, yeah.
2 years in a row.
And the reason why I say that, I said this with Coach today, if Ospreay's going to win the championship, I feel like, and this is just me personally saying this, Ospreay as the world champion, I don't think is going to be as big of a draw for AEW as they think it's going to be. And I feel like they'll give him at least 6 months, and I feel like they'll realize that they should have never taken the belt off MJF. And they'll put it right back on MJF, and he'll win the gauntlet match and cash it in as like a last-ditch effort to go back to what they were doing.
All right, but by that logic then, so yes, MJF is probably the biggest draw they have. By your logic then, would you just keep the title on him infinitely? I mean, you have to transition the belt to a babyface at some point, and Ospreay is Ospreay not the logical choice to go with and try with?
No, he is the logic. I mean, this is 3 years in the making. I have no problem with him winning.
You just don't think he's going to be enough of a draw to sustain him as world champion beyond, what, 6 to 9 months?
I would say we give him till at least Revolution, and if the ratings aren't where they need to be, or they haven't increased, or they haven't gained any new audience, I would say we take the belt off him.
Just to put it back on MJF?
Unless someone else comes along that really should be the champion. I don't know.
Because they've had all their eggs in the Ospreay basket now for a while. So I would think that Tony is probably going to give him a longer leash, you know, to try to make sure that this works before he gives up on him in that spot. I would be surprised if they take the belt off him that quickly.
I think 6 months is a good trial period. Anything after that, I don't know. I think that's a good time to see if he bumps the ratings up. But I mean, it's MJF, and the ratings with MJF were in the plus 700s. You know,
but for them, it's not just ratings though; it's pay-per-view buy rates. So
yeah, I don't think Ospreay's going to factor into that very well. That's just me.
Well, he may not, but I'm sure he's going to be looking at that just as hard, if not more.
Yeah,
because they still make money, a lot of money off these pay-per-views.
Yeah. Yeah, that's their bread and butter right here.
Yeah,
we'll see. I don't think MJF is going to win this. I'm going with MJF regardless, but I think Jason's idea of Jon Moxley winning this and the way he kind of laid it out is probably the best way to go. But to be fair, he also had a great idea of Jay White winning over Jon Moxley, and we go in a completely different direction, and they didn't give Jay White the win. So. I mean, banking on Jon Moxley losing the championship at this point, I think, is a losing battle. He loves Jon Moxley. I don't know.
Look, Moxley also is up there with MJF, is probably Tony's biggest draw.
Yeah.
It really is MJF and Moxley.
We will see. I'm going with MJF. Jason's going with Jon Moxley. I think that's a great idea. Tag team title match, Cage and Cope against the Young Bucks. Build hasn't been all that great. We had this inadvertent shot from one of the Bucks. I forgot who it was. I think it was Nick on Christian in that trios match with the Don Callis family in the main event. Don't know why that was necessary. But that's as far as the build we've gotten on television, Jason, outside that sit-down that we got a couple weeks ago. There hasn't been much interaction between these two teams at all. And for a dream match, first time ever match, no matter how old Cage and Cope are, it's kind of sad that the build has been almost non-existent.
Yeah, it's almost been just forgotten about, honestly. It's like when we had Copeland do that run-in a few weeks ago. I forgot what it was at the end of the show, but I was like, I'm glad they did that because they were almost forgotten about. Maybe it was it wasn't Arena Mexico. Maybe it was the week after. They've really taken a back seat to, the build for all of these other matches. And this was a pretty big one. And I was happy they kept it to just these two teams. Instead of having, all right, let's get 4 teams in there. We'll throw an FTR and we'll throw this team in. Because you could have done that too.
Yeah.
But then we already had a ladder match at Redemption. And when they did that, I'm like, are they really going to come back and do another ladder match at All In? You kind of already did the step. I hope they just keep it to these two teams. This is the first. You can always add more teams as you go along. FTR will be back at some point, right? The New Day haven't debuted yet, but once they do, I mean, they may be doing trio stuff for a while, but obviously the other big match to do would be New Day and Young Bucks. So there's still time, to get to all of that. You don't have to shove them all into the same match on the first show. I think the Bucks are getting the belts. I think Tony wanted Cope and Christian to win the belts in his company. And I think this is the match he wanted to do. He wanted to get them to Wembley, and he wanted to do this match that nobody else has ever done. And so here we are. And I don't see the need for Cope and Christian to retain the titles here. I think you get the belts back on the Bucks. And you've got, again, there's a couple of new teams that are either in or are about to come in. And they can work with the Bucks over the next few months. I would hope, unless, again, the machine guns, their GPS stopped working and they just forgot how to get to the arena. I would imagine we'll see them again. Maybe, who knows? Maybe they'll be in the gauntlet match tomorrow. Maybe they'll pop up in there.
I'm going Bucks as well. What do you make of Cope? I believe he may be in a contract year, barring any time off that he took to go film something or injury related. I know October has been rumored about him with Wrestle Dream potentially taking place up north. What do you make of Cope? Is this his final year in AEW, or what happens to him after this match, in your opinion?
No, he's going to stick around. Okay. He's going to stick around. I'm not sure when his contract is up. I mean, there's all kinds of rumors. It doesn't mean it's true. There were all kinds of rumors about Jericho, and he never left, right? He was never not signed with AEW. Copeland, he was on Ariel Helwani's show. I think it was Ariel, just recently. But it was with somebody. He said that he's going to retire in AEW. He's not going anywhere else. He's not going back to WWE. I think he wants to go for another 12 to 18 months, maybe, is kind of what he hinted at. So this is not going to be his last hurrah just yet. I mean, we're getting close, but I think this time next year, he may be winding down this time next year.
Well, I'm surprised that I didn't hear him say that. I didn't recall him saying that, but the fact that he's giving himself at least another year, I mean, that's a lot. That's courageous of him, because he's talked about, like, this is it for me. And the fact that he's giving himself another year says a lot about.
I'm pretty sure that he's not wrapping up just yet.
Okay.
So I think he's going to go into 2027. My guess would be 27 is probably going to be his last year. Exactly when during the year or when his contract may be up at that point, I'm not sure if it would be the second half of the year, first half at some point, but I'm pretty content to sit here and say that he's probably going to still be wrestling for them in 27. I don't think he's done just yet.
Yeah, we still need that Cope and Omega match, Cope and Ospreay. I'd like to see Cope and MJF. So
sure. And one of the things that he has said is he's got his checklist. If you remember, he posted on social media recently, like Cody did all those years ago. It was a little list of like bucket list items, and he was listing different venues. So he's going to be doing that thing with Maple Leaf Pro on October 3rd, which I think is at the old Maple Leaf Gardens. And he still has the Tokyo Dome on his list. So I think there's at least a decent chance he may wrestle at the Tokyo Dome on the January 4th show next year. Because with the partnership with New Japan, they can make it happen. I don't know if he would work Omega or if he would work somebody else on that show. So he's got some goals left, which again is why he's not done just yet.
Man, Alter Bridge playing at the Tokyo Dome. That'll be something, huh?
He said, man, he wanted to do, again, Maple Leaf Garden he's going to do in October. He's doing Wembley. This is his first time at Wembley. He did Arena Mexico. He wants to do the Tokyo Dome. And the only wrestling show at the Tokyo Dome all of next year is going to be in January.
Yeah.
So, I don't see 2028 happening. That's why I say if it was going to happen, it's probably going to happen at Wrestle Kingdom next year.
Good for him. I love him. So I'm going Bucks. Jason's going Bucks, new tag team champions on Sunday. Willow and Mercedes, Women's World Championship. This, to me, out of everything we've gotten on this show so far, is the one match that is the most unpredictable, which is a good thing. I'm going Mercedes. I think she wins the big one finally. And I think Willow, unfortunately, will be the transitional champion here.
I'm going to say that Willow Nightingale retains her championship. and Mercedes fails again in her quest to become world champion.
Okay.
If she does, though, if she does win, I think I saw this on a PW Insider, she would make history because she would become the first woman to hold the women's championship in WWE, the women's championship in AEW. She was the, was it the New Japan Strong Women's Champion? I think she held that title. CMLL Women's Champion. I don't think anybody else has ever done that. And that doesn't count, the NXT and all the other titles that she won.
No, she very much knows that as well. So I could see that. I could see them kind of playing into that. I think that's a great statistic.
But that being said, I'm still picking Willow to win.
Okay. It would be a short reign for Willow if she does lose. It's kind of unfair.
It would. Yeah, I mean, she would be, literally the transitional champion. She would transition the belt from Tekla to Mercedes.
Yeah.
And maybe that's what Tony has in mind, but I'm not as sure of that as some people are. I think most people probably just assume that this is her moment, right? She tried last year, she failed, and so now she's got to win it now, right? Willow beat her when she beat her for the TBS title. Willow's had her number. Maybe, but I'm not feeling like this is the moment where it actually happens.
If she loses, do they rematch it all out? Mercedes wins in Chicago?
I think it's possible, yeah.
Okay. All right, we'll see. Looking forward to that one. And then the main event, Kenny Omega, Will Ospreay. The farthest thing from unpredictable. This is very much predictable. Will Ospreay is on a mission here to win the championship in his home country in front of his friends and family. 3 years in the making. There's no reason to say that he won't. He very much will. Ospreay will win the championship here. It's all in the follow-up, though. This is going to be a culmination of their feud, of their history. Again, I wasn't married to the idea of this match. I've been very vocal about MJF being in this spot against Ospreay. I've heard all the opinions. This should be a fine match. Am I going to sit here and be glued to the television watching everything that these guys do? Not as much as any of the sickos, but Ospreay's going to win. It's all in the follow-up for me. If Ospreay's going to win the championship, I hope they have a clear plan as to what his title reign is going to look like with a nice lineup of opponents for him. That's what I'm looking forward to most. Not so much more the match, but what Ospreay's reign looks like after all on Sunday.
Imagine a few months from now, a Will Ospreay Ilja Dragunov match on Dynamite.
I'm sold.
That's it. Even just on TV, I'm there. I'm there for it.
Well, they got Grand Slam France coming up in October. Could be the perfect place for it.
They do, on my birthday.
Look at that.
Tuesday. It's a Tuesday. They're taping it, though. They're taping it for, I think they're taping Dynamite and Collision that week, but yeah, October 6th is a Tuesday. So,
well, you can have the day off if you want. I mean, that's a work day for you. You can go out and party.
Yeah. I have 2 shows to do that day.
Yeah. So you're going Kenny Omega to win the match here, right?
Absolutely, yeah. Sure. Will fail. He will be the shame, the scourge of his country.
He will lose and then join World Wrestling Entertainment.
Yeah. Well, did you see what he said about it on Ariel's show earlier?
Yes, I did.
He's not, you know what? He's not totally wrong.
No, he's not wrong.
He's not wrong in what he said. I mean, I did laugh when he was giving the analogy of having watched WWE recently, and he mentioned seeing a women's match where they threw a strike and it missed by like a country mile. And he said it's the men too. It's not just the women, but he prefers more of a snug style where you lay your shit in, don't be afraid. If it connects, that's great. He would rather somebody, tag him by accident instead of, throwing terrible looking shots that make for a bad match.
Yeah.
And it's just not the style of wrestling that he likes. Now, of course, he says that now. He also left open the possibility that, hey, never say never, which is only good business. You don't want to close that door. But look, I'm sure that's exactly how he feels. I feel that way watching WWE sometimes, where I watch some of these guys who I know what they're capable of. And they go out there and they're either wrestling at half speed or they're not, they're not putting everything into it. And I'm like, man, if this match happened anywhere else, it would be a totally different match.
Yeah.
And that's the style of wrestling that he likes. And I'm sure a lot of people who work in AEW feel the same way. But who's to say one day, if the money is right and the opportunity is right, who's to say that Will Ospreay doesn't end up in WWE?
I think there's a handful of talents that WWE would absolutely go out of their way to get from AEW. Obviously, the EVPs are at the top of that list because they would love those heads on the mantle of WWE at the Titan Tower. But MJF is one of them. Ospreay's another one. I think Triple H, even though there's been words back and forth and indirectly made at Ospreay, and Ospreay's mentioned Triple H on TV and all this other nonsense, I think they'd go out of their way to try and get him into WWE just to say that they got him.
Oh, I mean, of course they would. If they knew that his contract was coming due, let's say in a few years, they would absolutely want to have a conversation and make an offer. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, why wouldn't they? They were interested before. They'll be interested next time too. But if he still feels the way he feels now, he ain't going to go there. If this truly is the style of wrestling that he prefers, you're not going to get that in WWE.
No.
You're just not. And maybe you're of the opinion that that's not a good thing, because the other comment he made was, I don't want to make it sound like we're all just killing each other in AEW. I'm like, well, you kind of are. You kind of are. Like,
well, watch his match back with Swerve. I don't know what he's talking about at Forbidden Door.
Most of the time, it does look like you're kind of killing each other. But he was like, no, I don't mean that. But just I like more of a physical style of wrestling. And it shouldn't really be a surprise because it's that strong style. He wrestled in New Japan for many years.
Yeah.
And that was always the style there. More hard hitting. They lay their shots in. They take far too many neck bumps. Just talked to Kota Ibushi about that. It's all up to your personal taste. And he said it makes him feel more alive.
I could see that.
All right. I get what he's saying. I understand that.
Well, anyway, Jason and I will be live on Sunday following All In, so you know where to find us. That's happening on Sunday, 1 p.m. start time. What the pre-show is, I don't know. Check your local TV guides or TV listings. I don't watch the AEW pre-shows anymore. It's just a large waste of time.
Well, he might be there. Big Boom AJ, I think, is headed to Wembley.
Fantastic.
I don't know if that means pre-show or gauntlet, but he may pop up there.
He may be in the gauntlet, but hopefully not. But yeah, we'll be live on Sunday. Thank you guys for a great TNT. We're going to get into your super chats right now and then call it a night. So thank you again for everybody joining us. Super chats are open. Get them on in. Hit that thumbs up. Leave a comment down below. Go follow Jason on social media and on YouTube. Everything you need is linked for him down below. And go check out the latest episode of Uncrowned, uploaded today, that Jason put up. Or he didn't put it up, but he recorded it today, and it's on the Ariel Hawani feed. So please go and check that out.
It is indeed.
All right, man, let's get to these super chats. Michael Krause, $2 super chat. OTS joined the tap room. TNT, how you know? Pew pew. Yeah. Thank you, Michael. We love Michael Krause.
Yeah, Michael's great.
Olivia with a 250. Lucha tournament, useless and predictable. Big Cass, underwhelming. Chad Gable is lackluster. And TNT is the place to be. Much love from Bulgaria. JD and Solo.
Wow. We are global.
Scotland earlier from Fuzzy. And now Olivia with Bulgaria. Love to see it. Big Cass, the jury's still out. I'm a Big Cass fan. Chad Gable is not lackluster, in my opinion, anyway. I hope that they do him right during this IC title reign.
I hope they have a big match for him for Mexico City.
Yeah, me
He'll
too.
He'll be super over down there.
Caden with a 199. JD Solo, will the doofus son-in-law Triple H fumble Lola and Tatum? Lola is great. I hope not. Tatum has had a very underwhelming 2 weeks.
It hasn't been a great start for Tatum.
No.
Lola, I feel like Lola will fare better.
Yeah.
For a lot of reasons.
Tone VC with a 2. Horns up. Thank you, Tone. Johnny Boy Vaccaro with a 5. R.I.P. America's beloved icon, Dolly Parton. Indeed. Michelle with a 2. Too many factions on Raw. Time to break up. Judgment Day now. I agree. So does Jason.
It was time to break them up a year ago.
Also with the 2, Michelle says, would you put McIntyre with Royce Keys in OTM?
No.
Doesn't really fit there, but I would like to see the Bloodline Hunter gimmick come back. I just want to see him back on television, period. Noah Kirby with a $5 super chat. What are your thoughts on Dax Harwood's comments on the Road Warriors saying the Young Bucks might be the best tag team ever? Well, Dax is certainly entitled to his opinion, but I don't think the Young Bucks are the greatest tag team ever.
Yeah, it's his opinion. He's worked in the ring with them, and I'm sure he's got a very high opinion of them, as many people do. And that he's entitled to have his opinion. Are
they influential? Yes. Greatest tag team ever? No.
Well, his argument was everybody talks about the Road. I think even Bully Ray came out and said, like, you're wrong, buddy. Because he loves the Road Warriors, and Road Warriors are number one in his book at all times. But like his argument was people talk about them as like this big like drawing team, right? And he pointed out that like all these great matches they had, it had to do more with who they were in the ring with. So it was the Midnight Express, it was Arn and Tully, like they were the ones putting in the work to help make them look good, and that was kind of the basis, for his argument. But again, his criteria and your criteria for greatest tag teams of all time is going to be very different. So I don't doubt that's how he really feels, but a lot of people aren't going to agree with him on that.
And in your opinion, greatest tag team of all time?
The Road Warriors?
No, you. Who's your favorite? Who's your greatest tag team of all time?
Oh, my greatest tag team of all time. I mean, the Road Warriors were this larger than life team. They came out to Iron Man. Yeah, that was their original theme song. And when they came out, they looked like a couple of menaces, and they were. When I think tag team wrestling in the '80s, like you think of the Road Warriors, and that is my favorite era of tag team wrestling.
Yeah.
So if they're not number one, they're pretty. And I say this as someone who grew up a WWF fan, and the run I'm talking about with them was even before they came to the WWF. If it's not them, I hold teams like, the Hart Foundation and Demolition in pretty high esteem. And so I would probably have one of them at the top of my list. I think a lot of it depends on what era you grew up in. There's probably people who would say Edge and Christian or the Hardys. Like the Hardys and Dudleys are probably the two most decorated tag teams in wrestling history. Like, do you think that's fair to say in terms of their titles and accomplishments and achievements?
Number one and two, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, especially, and like the Hardys they're still drawing. People can talk about their in-ring input compared to what it was, 15, 20 years ago, whatever you want, but like there's a reason why they're featured the way they are in TNA and other places, and they're still winning tag team titles. So like, do you judge it by that? Do you judge it by the quality of their matches? What do you judge it by?
There's so many criteria to judge it by. Listen, I'm with you with the Hart Foundation. I mean, I grew up in that era too. I know this is going to be odd to some people. I love Money Incorporated. There's just so much than championship reigns and fucking, match quality. Just the characters were just there. I mean, as a kid watching the $1 Million Man and IRS become a tag team, I think that's fucking one of the greatest things ever. It's like just a perfect fucking tag team. To me, I'd have to go the Hardys. Legitimately, I have to go the Hardys, number one, greatest tag team of all time.
I mean, they'd be up there. I hesitate to say number one. I mean, there's been so many great teams that I was a fan of. Again, Hearts, Demolition, Steiners were a great team. It's tough. It's tough to say what my definitive number one is. I'd have to think about that some more.
All I'll say, as far as Dax's comments, Dax has every right to speak his mind on tag team wrestling because he is a part of one of the greatest tag teams of all time. So if there's anybody that knows tag team wrestling, it's Dax. So I think his word should be taken very seriously.
Well, do you remember IRS when he was a single star? What his theme music was in the
yes,
the old
it was
video games?
It was just the typewriter.
I was talking about the diesel truck sound before. His theme song was a fucking typewriter. Like that was his, which he never came out to that on TV. That was only like in the video game. No. I'm like, what is this? Like, what is this?
He didn't come out to theme music, did he? He just came out to nothing. Right?
He came out to nothing. Yeah. or what he was with Money Inc. He came out to DiBiase's theme.
That's fucking great.
I heard the typewriter. I'm like, what am I listening to?
I remember that very vividly. Yo, boy, Pete with a 9.99. How do you guys feel about a Claudio versus Nigel final with then it being announced Nigel can't compete and he will be replaced by a debuting Sheamus at All In? Jason put that to rest, Pete. Sheamus' contract is not done until October. I'd love to see him on television, but not yet. Tone VC with 42 millions drinking a Voodoo Ranger out of the OTS mug. JD, what's your favorite Flotsam and Jetsam album? Mine is When the Storm Comes Down, OTS for Life. Blood in the Water is my favorite Flotsam and Jetsam. The Big T with a 28 months. Old Filing got me free. Oh, Old Fling, I'm sorry. Old Fling got me a free AEW ticket when it comes to Detroit. Laid it down on her after as a thank you. Feels good to be alive, gents. Well, good for you, man. Enjoy the AEW show. They listen. The television may be long and drawn out and kind of uninspired, but I've been to several AEW shows with Jesse. They are always a good time. Energy is always good.
Yeah, and they're in Glasgow tomorrow,
yes.
So I'm very curious what this crowd is like.
Yeah.
So does that mean that they're taping it earlier in the day?
Yes.
What's the time? Oh, they are. Okay.
Yeah.
So what's the time zone difference between?
I think that's 6 hours ahead.
Okay.
Yeah. Michelle with a 2. Why would Keys join with the guy who put him out? Why would Keys join Fatu, I'm assuming?
Well, because they have a friendship. They have a bond that goes back 15 plus years. And sometimes brothers fight and you forgive and forget.
Kid named Finger, 19, 199. Solo, do you plan on seeing the movie Buddy?
What? Who's in that? I don't know if I'm familiar with that. Is that coming out this year?
First I'm hearing that. I don't know. Buddy?
IMDb, Buddy. Here we go, 2026.
Is that based off the movie Buddy Lembeck from Charles in Charge?
No. I can't believe you just mentioned that. But, okay, Buddy. A brave girl and her friends must escape a kids' television show. This is the first I'm hearing of this.
Oh, that sounds like something right up his wheelhouse.
I mean, this sounds like a horror movie, but it doesn't say what it is. Oh, it is. Okay, a dark comedy, psychological slasher horror. This is the first I'm hearing of it, but apparently Topher Grace is in this movie.
I never heard of this before. Jason just read this excerpt about Buddy.
Releases August 28th. Well, I will be seeing Coyote versus Acme on Thursday. I'm not even sure this Buddy movie would be showing in my local movie theater. It's the first I'm hearing of it, but I'm going to have to look into this.
There you go, Kid Named Figure. Thank you for the recommendation, man. Chicago 4MBK with a 2. No message. Thank you, Chicago. Sidro with a 2. Why trees don't have teeth? Because they all bark, no bite. Interesting. Thank you, Sidro. Bossmo Jackson with the 199 just popping in to give a shout out to the TNT family. How successful will Dion Lennox be in WWE? I don't know. That's a good question for somebody who watches NXT weekly.
I mean, what little I've seen of him recently, I think a lot of it is just going to depend on, as with everything, a lot of it is going to depend on the booking, and if they can just kind of accentuate his strengths and hide whatever weaknesses he has. I think the push of OTM will tell the tale. I think they may give a better sense of how things might go for Lennox based on how OTM is pushed. I honestly don't know with this creative team. I don't know. I don't look at him like there are certain people that maybe start in NXT, but they're like a sure thing. I wouldn't say he's a sure thing.
Casey in the chat says Keegan Michael Key plays the Buddy character Solo.
Yeah, but isn't the Buddy character under? Because like if you look at the main poster graphic for it, it's someone in this weird mascot costume. Are you saying he's in the mascot costume?
I guess that's what he's
Buddy. I have to watch this trailer when we're done here. Apparently, there's a trailer here.
Eminem says, "Don't mess with Charles in Charge." It was an awesome show. Yes, it was. It was one of my favorite shows growing up. Loved it.
Pretty good theme song too.
Yes, absolutely.
Nicole Eggert.
Yeah, That's basically it. That's all you got to say. Boss Mo Jackson, thank you, brother. TVP, again, thank you for the $100 bomb. Appreciate you showing up here, brother. Lord Maestro with a $9.99. I love you both. The more the years go by, I question what happened to Triple H NXT booking. He probably would have fumbled Adam Cole if he stayed like he fumbled Gargano. I mean, I don't know.
I have no hope. I have no hope for if Adam Cole was still there. I have no hope that he would be pushed as any kind of top star.
No,
none.
No. You see the ways of what we used to do. They don't apply to the current product. Kid named Finger with a $4.99. Do you reckon Omega stays heel after All In, or will he just revert back to normal as if nothing happened? LOL.
Revert back. I think he's only doing this now just for the purposes of this match.
Yeah.
I think when the match is over, they'll hug and embrace, and he'll go back to being Kenny Omega.
Yep. Crazy Fist 23 with a 5. I'm 15 months sober from alcohol, 10 months sober from cigarettes. I'm getting clean off weed day by day, living a normal life again. Peace and love.
That's awesome.
That is fucking incredible, Crazy Fist. Congratulations, bro.
Keep it up, brother.
Boss Mo Jackson 199. Nintendo 64 or Dreamcast, Sega or Nintendo?
I would go Nintendo. I mean, I like both, but I would go Nintendo. I didn't own either of those consoles, though.
Yeah, I got to go Nintendo. Absolutely. I had Sega. I just wasn't a big fan of like their Sega specific games. Nintendo always had the best games.
Yeah, you know what I was reminded of? I don't know how this came across my YouTube recommendeds. You know what it was? I know what it was. I came across something on Instagram, and it was some sort of retro page, and they were playing one of the songs from the soundtrack of the first Streets of Rage game. Mm-hmm. And I was reminded about how fucking great that music was.
I love the fucking game, period. Never mind the music.
Yeah, but I think this song, it might have been the first one, first track or whatever. And then I was listening to it on YouTube, and it's really good. It's like that 8-bit music, but it's so good.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, Mega Man had music like that too. Mega Man had some of the best soundtrack in all of gaming. That's similar style. But I got to go Nintendo 64, Boss Mo Jackson. I had a Dreamcast too, but there was not a lot behind the catalog there. Nintendo 64 just had some classic games. Ray Reezy with a 20. Since it was Vince's birthday yesterday, was it? Gee, I was off social media most of the weekend, so I must have missed that. In your opinion, what was the wildest thing he said on TV? Mine is when he was telling Paul Heyman what was going to happen to The Undertaker's house and his wife. If you know, you know.
Yeah, that was that was very disturbing. I know exactly what you're talking about. And I think it says, we didn't know it at the time, but I think it said a lot about Vince McMahon.
We could make a whole show about the craziest shit that he's done on television, but we'd be here all night.
That probably, honestly, that might be it right there.
Ray Reese, thank you, brother. Soap water backwash with a 10. Oh my God, I'm not singing this. Annie, are you karaoke? Annie, are you karaoke? Are you karaoke, Annie? You've been hit by a smooth Hiromu.
It's Choach.
We will see Choach on Friday. We got to see if he's really Choach. Kid named Finger with a 199. Happy birthday to the metal god, Rob Halford. I believe he's either 83 or 84, lead singer of Judas Priest. You'd never know it. He still has a fucking set of lungs on him like you wouldn't believe. Money Milkman with a 199. BFAB must be a merch selling machine, I guess.
Yeah, the analytics are off the page.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be news to me if she even has merch. Joker Face with a 499. WWE give Roxanne Perez the Undertaker streak by being 21-2, but opposite, she has 2 wins and 21 losses. LOL. Happy 75th birthday to Rob. Oh, he's only 75. I thought he was in his 80s.
You aged him by 10 years.
I aged him by fucking 8 years. Is she really 2 wins and 21 losses? Is that a legitimate statistic?
Who is he? Who is
Roxanne Perez?
Yeah, that sounds about right. Because I had mentioned something with her maybe a month ago on my stream. I had looked up like when her last win was, and I don't even think I'm not even sure if she has one this year. But if she does, maybe she has one. Like it's an awful win-loss record.
Well, 2-21 in her last 23 matches. Holy shit.
Yeah,
that's crazy. Omar with a 5. It's wild how the AEW Trios division is stronger than the WWE Tag Team division. No, it's not. It's not really surprising, though the Trios Championships don't mean shit. Also, how would you book Buddy Matthews upon his return? Great show, guys. I don't know.
You know what? He could pop up in that gauntlet match.
I would love to not see. I would love to see him not go back there, honestly. But he's still in the contract, I assume. You know what would be great if him and Malachi come back in as a tag team and if you were Brodito? That would be fucking great.
I have an idea. Let's put him in the Don Callis family. There you go. That's what I think.
Yeah, that's what I fear. That's what I fear they're going to do with Dragunov when he comes in. Just kick out Fletcher and put in Dragunov.
Then they'll have a trio. They can do Davis, Doyle, and Buddy.
Yeah,
and go after the trios titles.
There you go. Ash with a 222. Thank you, brother. Hey, JD Solo, going to the AEW Wembley show. AEW pay-per-views are more value for money than WWE PLEs. And I think it was a mistake not keeping MJF as champion. We agree. Have a great time at the Wembley show. I was at the first one, had a great time. And yeah, AEW pay-per-views are definitely more value for the money. 100%. Charles with a 5. BJ Bethel tried to confirm his story on the part of ESPN where I go to find out why the Cubs game isn't on as advertised.
Yeah, it was a fucking forum, like in the fan support section.
Oh, my God.
Comical.
JD from GTA 206 with a 999. Oh, man. Yeah, I'll be jumping into some Grand Theft Auto.
Where are they doing on Netflix?
Thursday.
Thursday. Yeah. I wasn't sure what the day was.
Well, if you're on social media, you saw all the leaks by this leaker guy. You see this?
Yeah, I avoid all that.
This guy leaked several portions of the game already.
Oh, the actual game,
yes.
Or like game? Oh, really?
Yeah. Somehow, I don't think this is. I think this is a strategic ploy.
Okay, but what is the response been? Positive to what people have seen?
Yeah, I mean, the version he has is like a 2024 version. It's not even the updated version of the game. And the stock, I think the stock was hit so hard they lost a ton of money because of this leaker. I don't know what's going on there, but
well, it's like, did you see what happened with that movie Mutiny, the new Jason Statham movie?
No.
So that movie came out this past week, but I want to say maybe it was Amazon. Somebody made a mistake and they posted the entire movie on like Prime Video or whatever, and it was up for a while before they realized it and they took it down.
Oh boy!
But they didn't take it down fast enough, and so it got immediately ripped and just leaked on all the fucking sites.
That's crazy.
And yeah, there's a lot of very unhappy buyers in other countries that are like, "What the fuck?"
Yep.
Like, Amazon better cut us a check for this, and yeah, it's bad. It's bad.
As far as this guy, he says, JD from GTA and the COD monster walking down in the hood, ready to rob the BC Bank, Jesse's taco truck, and Denise's sweet shop chilling at the C-Jacks Club, smoking it with Ross and blowing up GCW. You sound like Demeter bullying, bro. I miss Demeter. Sounds like a Demeter bullying comment. Also, he says with the 499, pushing baby Tony off the swing, spitting all over Vince's grave, having rap battles with Vince Russo while the coach is beatboxing. This is my IWC. Well, you got quite the imagination there, bro. I don't know anything that you just said, but thank you for the support tonight. Kill Switch with a 5. Could we ever have a one-time WWE AEW collab in the future with WWE dictating some terms, or is WWE too selfish to even consider it?
No.
Never.
Not going to happen.
Jason Barker, 43 months. Hey, guys. Got some time to check in. Fightful Select says AJ Lee said she wasn't planning on being in the Bella's Page angle. How's everyone's day? Everyone, I'm good. I would suppose Jason's good, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm always good on Tuesdays. We always have fun here.
We always have fun here. And
so we're always good.
And AJ Lee said she wasn't planning on being in the Bella's Paige angle. Good.
Well, there was some talk about had Brie not gotten hurt that maybe Paige would have brought in AJ and we would have had like a tag team match between the two sides. So I mean, this is the first I'm hearing of this. I guess she said something somewhere and said that she wasn't planning on being a part of it. I mean, she could say that now because she's not going to be a part of it. So it's easy for her to say that. I don't know what the plan was. Did you see this? I hate to even bring this up. Did you see this Brie Bella thing from TMZ the other day?
Where she shit her pants?
Yeah, she was like shitting all over herself or whatever.
I heard about it. I didn't look further into it. No.
Why would you share that? Like, why?
I don't know.
Why was this news? This was all over my feed about Brie Bella like shitting herself, and I'm like, what is this?
It's the culprits in the community make a video on this 10 minutes long so they get the ad revenue. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Bring that up.
Nate TV with 49 months. I've been showing friends AEW this year because no one wants to watch WWE anymore, but they all complain about the same thing, overruns on AEW. Hey, TK, get them out. Yeah. 5-10 minutes is fine, but 35 minutes? No, thank you. Sam Vargas with a $5 super. The only team that can beat Double D's is Hurt Syndicate. Hashtag Lashley for president. Who's Double D's? Am I missing something? Hurt Syndicate has been buried. I think that's the proper use of the word, buried. Jason just left us. Jason just left us, man. He lasted this long. He didn't want to be part of the Superchats anymore. Charles 616 as we wait for Jason to get back. Burger. Oh my God, there he is.
I told you the Gremlins were going to get.
Yeah, the Gremlins waited a little bit longer than the last couple of weeks, which we appreciate.
They did.
Charles with a $5 super chat. Burger Kingston not cleared, but gets a CMLL championship match, which means he'll win because Hechicero lost to a one-legged commentator. Yeah,
he did. The CMLL World Champion was beaten by a one-legged commentator. And I said, Tony would never. If the shoe was on the other foot, Tony would never. He would never allow.
But what is this? I mean, he is correct. He got pulled from the Continental Classic Cup only to get a CMLL championship match.
Well, yeah. So whatever the medical issue was, it was obviously temporary. And yeah, he's set to wrestle for the CMLL championship. Do we have a date on this?
I don't know. I saw a flyer going around. I was too lazy to look.
Let me see.
SRH, $20 super chat. Thank you, brother. Thank you, JD and Jason, for another great show. Pleasure to watch a smart, fun, and entertaining show about the sport we love. I live in the LA area, but can't make the HOG show, but we'll be watching on YouTube. TNT for life.
Right,
Thank you, brother.
Eddie Kingston is going to challenge on this Friday.
Live?
I don't know if this is stream. Oh, here we go. Is this is on YouTube? It looks like. Let's see here.
I don't
know. It looks like it is going to be members only on the CMLL YouTube channel. Members only content streaming on. Oh wait, no. This is. Hold on a second. This is something different. Anyway, it's Friday on the CMLL show. He is wrestling for the World Championship on that show.
Okay.
There you go.
SRH, any support for the House of Glory show is appreciated, brother. Thank you so much. We wish you could be there, but YouTube is the place to watch it. We'll be live. Nathan with a $4.99. What's up, JD Solo? My Apple Podcasts contain you both and CVV is my favorites to listen to weekly. Keep killing the game, boys. I'll always be a fan.
You got good taste.
Thank you, Nathan.
We appreciate it.
Love it. Patriots 92 with a 10. My dark horse winner of the gauntlet match is Kyle Fletcher. I could probably see him winning the belt at Revolution next year. Like I said, it's time.
Charles says the same doctor who diagnosed Willow's injury also diagnosed Eddie Kingston.
Yes. Charles, you're on a roll, brother. Thank you. Don Stoney with a 5. Shout out to Don Stoney, Wrestling Soup, Spitball Media, and as always, rest in peace, Kevin Castle. Stoney, thank you for being here always, brother. Appreciate you. Absolutely. Gavin with a 10, coming to us from Australia. Claudio wins the gauntlet, cashes in at All Out with an added step from Mox that Claudio gets kicked out of the Death Riders if he loses. Ospreay wins, beatdown ensues. Sheamus makes the save.
Can't happen.
Can't happen, but quite the imagination there, Gavin. I don't really care for any of that. So much Death Riders on my TV is just incredibly uninteresting to me. Same thing with the Don Callis family. Johnny Fair, $2 super chat. Hog Cleveland. If TNA can draw there, so can you.
Oh, I don't doubt that we can. It's just you got to take it one event at a time, 1 month at a time, and when we have an announcement to make, well, believe me, we will make the announcement. We'll talk about it here.
There you go.
And now we're focused on LA, and then we have Chicago.
Yeah, in the same month.
Mm-hmm.
Happy with a 199. Bron got 0 aura and mic skills. He's Zilla and Oba Stepstool. Bron's got 0 aura and mic skills? I don't think that's true at all.
Well, I did think that Oba outclassed him a little bit on the mic last night.
Yes, that I agree with.
Yeah, I definitely give the edge in that promo to Oba. Oba just was very, had a smirk on his face the entire time. He was very laid back, very almost smug. And I just thought he just was better on the mic than Bron was last night. Some Steiner math.
Yeah. He did throw a couple of zingers at him. Johnny Fair with a 2. Becky Lynch is low-key top 3 promo in wrestling. I think Becky is great, especially as a heel, and I think Becky is the best women's wrestler of the generation, honestly. It's her and Mercedes. Furious with the 499. What's up, JD Solo? So with WWE contracts and then a lot of AEW contracts coming up, it's going to be very interesting. Britt, I think, jumps. Thoughts? Yeah. A lot of defections happening over the... I would say give it till October, November. We're going to see a lot of back and forth. But that's what makes this all fun for us. Lots of news coming up. I could see Britt being one of them for sure. I don't know what Wardlow's status is. Brian Alvarez said there's a lot of contracts coming up on both sides. So, no names were mentioned. Tribal Chief with a 10. Taker said on his podcast with Heyman that people give him the side eye whenever he is backstage talking with talent. Yeah, Triple H is just like Vince. You're on the same team.
Yeah, I saw that clip. He was kind of laughing when he said it, but he did mention he was backstage recently and he was getting the side eye from some people when they saw him talking to some of the wrestlers. Probably figuring putting it in their ear like, hey, you should come to AAA, But it's weird because, again, they do. They all work for the same team. And it's like, what are they so paranoid about?
I don't know. I don't understand that. Johnny Fair with a 2. Going to SmackDown and Raw taping Friday. Long night. Good luck, Johnny. Good luck. Couldn't be me. Hollywood Guy with a 5. I really liked Money Inc. They were underrated. And I also was a fan of Harlem Heat. I was wondering if you guys were a fan of London and Kendrick. Yeah, I thought they were great.
Yeah, they were a very good team. Yeah, they work well together. Tag team champions, too, I think.
Yeah.
During that period. And Harlem Heat, also great team. Yeah, 10 or 11. 10 time, I think, tag team champions in WCW. And then it launched Booker. Booker's run as TV champion, I thought was also really good.
Adam Hernandez with a $20 super chat. Thank you, Adam. Watched recently Aleister Black and Ricochet versus War Raiders at TakeOver New York for who knows how many times. Black and gold for life. And once again, free Britt Baker. Britt's been posting a little bit more lately. I think something's brewing there. And that tag team match at TakeOver New York was the finals of the Dusty Classic that year. That was a fucking great match. And then they got called up, and I think Vince remained with them as a team and didn't really know what to do with them when they got called up. Ricochet and Black.
Yeah, I think, and we have the Rebel Heart episode of Dynamite coming up in September. I wouldn't be shocked if Britt shows up on that show in some way. Not that she wrestles necessarily, but that she'll make some sort of appearance.
She should absolutely be on that show, 100%. B Money with a $4.99. Will you guys be watching the Whisper Man movie on Netflix? Has there been any update on Mark Sterling after that horrific bump he took on his neck?
No. He posted a picture of himself laid up with a neck brace on. I think it was just a gimmick. But after watching that, I wouldn't be shocked if he was really laid up in traction in a fucking neck brace. I mean, that was a horrendous bump.
That's ridiculous. I hope he's all right, man. I watched that back at least a half a dozen times. It got worse every time I watched it.
I paused it, and his body was like, all the parts of his body were going in opposite directions. It was just like a cartoon character.
Whisper Man. I haven't heard of that on Netflix. I don't know what that's about. Whisper Man on Netflix.
Let's find out.
He's going to look that up. Fast Eddie with a $4.99. Solo, are you planning on seeing I Play Rocky?
Oh, I heard about that. No, I wasn't planning on seeing it. Okay. Yeah, this is the new De Niro movie.
Oh, okay.
A grieving father and his young son relocate to the quiet town of Featherbank, which was terrorized by a serial killer known as the Whisper Man 15 years earlier, while rumors circulate that Whisper Man worked with an accomplice.
Ooh, sounds interesting.
That sounds interesting.
Might have to check that out. Sam Vargas
also comes out August 28th.
There you go. Sam Vargas with a $2 super chat. Double D's or Divine Dominion? Oh, okay. Yeah, we like them. Justin Toner with 11 months. Thanks for another great show tonight, guys. Any predictions on NXT Heatwave? I'm excited for Kendall versus Kalani and the Fatal 4-Way for the title. Kendall's retaining for sure. I don't know, Jason, do you think Zilla walks out with the NXT title?
I was thinking that, and then I saw some people mention that he was the last one holding up the title tonight at the end of NXT, I think. Oh. So that usually is not a good sign.
I'd actually give it to Mike Santana first before I give it to Zilla, honestly. Or they could surprise everybody and give Grayson Waller a quick run with it.
Or they could really surprise everybody and have just Tony D retain.
We'll see. I'll have my eye on that because Zilla is going to be in the match as well as Santana, so I'll probably be going back and forth. Furious with a 20. Vince selling WWE was a big middle finger to the fans and his family. Sale wasn't needed and was in good hands with Stephanie and Triple H in 22. It was never about a sale. WWE should have been like a family legacy. Yes. We've talked about this so many times. I despise TKO and what they've done. It's just awful. Fast Eddie with a $4.99. JD Solo watched one of my favorite matches of all time, the Rumble 93. Bam Bam Bigelow versus the Boss Man. That was a great fucking Rumble. I don't care what anybody says. It wasn't better than 92, but it was still a great Rumble.
Terrible ending.
Yes, terrible ending, but great Rumble. I remember it was Bam Bam Boss Man, Razor Brett. Then I think it was the Beverly Brothers and the Steiners, wasn't it? Also on that show?
Was it the Beverlys and the Steiners or the Beverlys and the Bushwhackers?
It might have been the Bushwhackers. Yeah.
Or a natural disaster.
And then that was Jannetty and HBK with Sherry because of the whole mirror incident, and Sherry got hit with the mirror.
Yes.
That was a great fucking Rumble. The Arco Arena in Sacramento, California.
Yes, it was. And that also would have been the night that Bobby Heenan unveiled the Narcissus.
Yes, yeah. Again, I love that. Johnny with a 5. Favorite tag team, Hollywood Blondes. Best tag team toss-up, Hart Foundation or Eaton and Lane, Midnight Express.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing is I didn't really grow up on like the Rock and Roll Express and the Midnight Express. Yeah. I kind of feel like if I did, I probably would go with one of them as my like favorite. That's what I mean. Like it's all a matter of like what you kind of grew up on and what era you grew up in. For me, you could toss a coin between Demolition and the Hart Foundation. I'd probably go with one of them.
Justin Toner says Beverly's and Bushwhackers was the 92 Rumble. Was it?
Oh, yeah, it might have been because Jameson was there.
Oh, yeah.
Jameson and the Genius were in their respective corner. Remember Jameson?
Yeah, I do think it was the Steiners then.
Yeah, Jameson with his glasses and his handkerchief.
Yeah, yes.
Probably worked in the fucking home video department or something. Like, hey, you want to play character on TV? Sure.
Oh my god. I remember the Beverly's tag team finish, man. That shit was fucking brutal back in the day.
Shaker Heights Spike.
Oh, Jesus.
They have video compilations on YouTube of them. I don't know how some of these guys didn't break their necks.
No, there was one. I don't know who it was. Some jobber, man. I remember him just. I'm surprised he walked away after that night.
Well, actually, what's funny about that one, if it's the one I'm thinking of, is on commentary, the way that I think Vince reacted. Like, he probably saw a fucking lawsuit in his future. Like, oh my God.
Oh my God.
It's just awful.
Fiore's with a 5. So it looks like I'm going to be at the Mets Yankees game on 9/13 at Yankee Stadium. Hashtag Let's Go Yankees. Yeah, well, Subway Series, man. Not as special as it used to be, but still cool. Also with a 5, who was the better heel in the mid-2000s in your guys' opinions, Edge or Randy Orton? I mean, I got a fondness for the rated R Edge. You know?
Yeah, I got to go Edge.
Captain Solo with a 5. Which was the best probability of happening? LA Knight beating Roman Reigns for the title or Nyla Rose playing in the WNBA?
Well, it's not LA Knight beating Roman Reigns for the title.
Oh my God, I'm still holding out hope, man. I may be the only one on that situation, but I'm holding out hope. And when with this Clone Force, Avengers Endgame from 2019 is re-releasing next month in the movies. They will show end credit scene that will take place before Doomsday, and Triple H is stupid. Okay, I heard this guy's got tickets to Doomsday already 4 months in advance.
I tried to reserve my tickets for the week it comes out. It was all sold out. Every fucking showing is sold out. There's a few that have like row 1 is open, and I'm not watching a movie like that. So I had a reserve for Christmas Eve. I will be going to see Doomsday, which gives me T-minus 4 months to see all of the relevant Marvel movies beforehand. I've watched 1 so far, which is X-Men from 2000, which I don't even think that was an MCU movie. I think that was a Fox movie, I think. But, you know, it's got, like, if you watch the trailer for Doomsday, you see Patrick Stewart is in there and Ian McClellan is in there. And they play Professor X and Magneto in the first X-Men movie. So I watched X-Men and I enjoyed it. It wasn't bad.
Well, we got 10 hours total on a plane next week. So that's at least, what, 3 movies?
Yeah, probably. And there's a lot more than that to go through. So I have some work to do.
Guys, thank you so much for a great 161. I'm going to let this guy sound us off for another great week here on Tuesday Night Titan.
Well, on the subject of movies and TV, I was going to mention this. I think we talked about this a few weeks ago. I know I mentioned it on Crown, but the guy Ryan Hurst, who tore his bicep, he was supposed to play Kratos in the God of War TV series. And they shot 4 episodes. He tore his bicep, and now he has been bumped for someone else, and they're going to start the whole show all over again with a different actor because it's just going to take too long for his arm to heal. And the person who has gotten the role is Dave Bautista. So Dave Bautista will play Kratos, and I guess they start filming probably in the next couple of months. So he's going to have to bulk up a little bit.
He's looking a little frail.
He's definitely smaller than he used to be, but he's also 57 years old. Yeah. So, but yeah, it was just funny to me. All the people like showing Triple H and Kratos side by side, like, oh, it was right there. You should have gone with Triple H. I'm like, you do realize like the person in the lead role has to know how to act. That's kind of important.
I got no problem with Dave Bautista, but if you want a real, just physical appearance of Kratos, I think Champ is the best one out of them all. No? All right, we'll see.
I mean, facially, yeah. You know, sure, but I mean, he would have to bulk up too.
Yes.
Kratos is, you know, bigger than that. But I like Dave. I think he's going to kill it.
Yeah, I'm interested to seeing that. I did hear about that. That sounds great. So, one of the best franchises in gaming history with Dave Bautista in the lead role. You got my attention. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for all of your support here on TNT. Again, we will see you right back here next week for more on Tuesday Night Titan. We'll see you guys later.